nachos, muchachos, and welcome back to the blasphemy of football, Semi-Pro Saturday. I'm your host, Chris Dotson. We're super excited for this season to finally kick off. We've had months of preparation, a lot of back and forth, a lot of craziness that's going on. Players coming and going from every team. We have one player, an MVP from last year, that's nowhere to be found. He's not going to be playing this year, possibly. Who knows? But let's first get into why I'm super excited, not only for the season, but some big things that are happening here for us at the Southern Sports Network. More particular, this season with Semi-Pro Saturday, as you can tell, the new digs. New digs coming in from Grindhard. Grindhard is now the official uniform vendor for Semi-Pro Saturday. I've been looking for years to find somebody that's reputable, somebody that's here in the United States, that knows what they're doing, that's specializing in not only uniforms for Semi-Pro, but also for across the board from Little League to professional ranks. I have found them. They are Grindhard. Check them out on their website, their Facebook page. They're all over social media. They're doing some amazing things, and we're so super excited to finally partner up with them this year. So check them out, Grindhard. That's it. So hey, let's jump right into it. This year it's going to be super fun. Let's recap from last year though. Last year, as you could see, was we got our playoff bracket up. That was super exciting. A lot of drama going on. And of course, the games that were going up to this, that were just so magical to watch. A repeat from the year prior. The Joplin Crusaders found a way to be able to get the job done. So let's also talk about now, going up into this year, there's been several changes, of course, in semi-pro football. We know that teams kind of come and we know teams go. But for the most part, in the CMFL, we've had established teams that have been here for mainly a decade or two. Long-lasting teams make a huge difference in semi-pro. But let's talk about the ones that had dropped off. The Midwest Titans, surprising to me. I thought they were going to come back with a vengeance this year. A lot of the players jumped ship and went to other teams. The St. Joe Swarm, I had some speculation going into late last year that are they going to be around this year? I was hoping for it, but now that we've got another St. Joe's teams, which we'll get back to in a minute, they just didn't have the numbers, and they also had problems finding a field. In St. Joe right now, all of the fields are being redone. The school district is putting in some new turf, doing some upgrades and all. So it was a double-edged sword, and out the door they went. Northwest Arkansas Generals, the NWA Generals, last year was the final year for Coach Marcus London, who happens to be joining us here on the Southern Sports Network to do some cameo work for us. So we're super excited about that. Sad to see the Generals go, but you know, it ran its course. You're in it 3, 4, 5 years. That's a good run. So their time is ended. A lot of the players went to either the Hawks, one went to the Bears, several went, of course, to the Warcats. So that'll help out the Warcats for sure. And lastly, the Nebraska Law Dogs. This is the second year in a row that they were supposed to be in the CMFL. This latest bout, they decided that they're just going to go 8-man. Maybe they just didn't have the numbers, but they've been begging and pleading to come into the CMFL, and they lay a turd again. So I think this is their last shot at doing 11-man here in the CMFL. If it were up to me, I wouldn't have that anymore. But anyway, so let's get into this year's teams that are in the CMFL and what those divisions and conferences look like. And as you can see, the Arkansas Warcats, we're going to start off with the Gateway Conference. The Warcats, the Cougars, the Vipers, the ECMO Eagles, Kansas City Panthers, Missouri Cyclones, Springfield Punishers come back for another year, and the St. Louis Falcons, that I expect to see some really good stuff coming out of those guys this year. So let's get into the Great Plains Conference now. The Joplin Crusaders, last year's champions. The Kansas Diamondbacks, which I'm surprised they made it back, because last year they made it about halfway through, lost a lot of their players, but it looks like they kind of rebuilt with some new ones going into this year. The Oklahoma Bears, the Oklahoma Gators, the up-and-coming new team, the Oklahoma Hawks, that were 8-man last year, that are out of Grove, Oklahoma, joining us, the St. Joe Bucks, new to the league, and the Wichita Skyhawks. So let's get into this year's semi-pro rules now. The playing rules have changed. We finally published the first ever semi-pro football rulebook. It consists of mainly NFHS or high school rules, but with modifications. What are those modifications? Well, several. Now, this is going to enhance, I think it's the best of both worlds, honestly, because we're bringing in high school officials, but we want a professional game called. So let's just kind of merge the two together. So 15-minute quarters is the first one, of course. Down by contact, 10 toes challenge with 2 feet in. You can advance on kickoffs and punt blocks or what have you not. It is a spot foul for PI, for both OPI and DPI. And we've eliminated the 5-yard face mask penalty. So it's only 15-yard varieties that you're going to get, which should make things a little bit easier. And then finally, neutral zone infractions. You can't cross the line, come back before the ball is snapped, and it will not count against you. If you make contact, however, or the ball is snapped while you're in the neutral zone, 5-yard penalty automatically. So those are the modifications that we made to the NFHS rulebook. Should make the game a little bit more easier to manage, not only for the officials, but also the players and the coaches, which, by the way, a lot of our coaches are high school coaches as well. So easier transition should make for a faster game, and we won't have so many of those conferences as we saw last year. And so, big news for all of us there. Hopefully it makes the game a little bit better. When we come right back, we're going to talk about this year's rankings, preseason final rankings, matchups and predictions, weather, and a lot more right after this. Welcome back. I know that everybody's been looking forward to the final rankings, as there's been other publications that have come out with theirs. Some of them including other leagues. We're really specific to the CMFL, so let's get right into it. So, as you can see, the Oklahoma Bears, we think are number one this year. Those are our guys that we think are going to make it to the championship game and that have the best chance of winning said championship game. Followed by number 2, they are looking for the repeat, Joplin Crusaders. Now, the Joplin Crusaders this year are a little bit different because they are missing their number 1 quarterback, who, by the way, decided that he was going to split during the offseason and decided he was going to look around, fishing around for some teams, and it looked like he signed on with the Missouri Cyclones. However, I guess something happened with his work and was not able to be in this St. Louis market, and he signed on with them, so if he either plays with them or he doesn't, and it looks like he's not going to be playing. So we might not be seeing, number 1 quarterback from the Joplin Crusaders this next year. Who knows? We'll have to see how things going. They did sign some new quarterback play there in Joplin, so we're looking forward to seeing some of these new faces. Number 3, the Missouri Cyclones. Coming back in from last year's defeat in the championship game, I know that Twan Galladay is going to load it back up. Mainly looking for a good quarterback, is that they've been struggling for the past year, 2 years actually for that. Number 4, the Wichita Skyhawks. Now the Skyhawks have been, for a long time, for almost the past decade, the dark horse because they've got the weapons, they've got good coaching. They just get into the playoffs and can't quite make it. I don't know what it is, but it's the kryptonite in the playoffs. We might see something different this year. Who knows? Number 5, the Tulsa Gators. The Tulsa Gators have reloaded this year. They loaded up with some brand new talent, some good D1 talent too coming out from the University of Tulsa. So look out for the Gators this year. Number 6, the St. Louis Falcons. Another team that's benefited from teams folding, bringing in some good talent. I expect good things out of the number 6 St. Louis Falcons this year. Followed by the Central Illinois Cougars. The Cougars last year had a bit of a travesty on their hands as closer to the end of the season, their ball field imploded. It was built on top of a mine, and apparently after years and years of contraction, expansion underneath the ground, it finally just gave way. The whole field in the middle, by the 50-yard line, believe it or not, collapsed, leaving a huge hole. Luckily, nobody was playing at that time. Otherwise, it would have been really bad. It was a 30 or 40-foot drop-off. It probably would have killed somebody. So they got a new field this year, so looking forward to them. The Kansas City Panthers, much improved. We got them at number 8. As we saw last week, they played up against the champion, St. Joe Bucks, and they gave them a goose egg. And we are really excited to see what the Panthers are going to come back this year as they've been around for a long time, haven't seen a championship, haven't even sniffed a championship in years. Number 9, the Arkansas Warcats. They're going to benefit, of course, from the Northwest Arkansas Generals' demise, picking up some new talent along the way, so we're expecting to see some improvement out of them this year. Number 10, the ECMO Eagles, wraps up the top 10. The St. Joe Bucks. Now, we moved the St. Joe Bucks down. We saw what they brought to the table last week. Now, we know it's a preseason game. We know that things are changing, and you can't take it verbatim. However, this was a live game, and what we saw out of the St. Joe Bucks was a lot less than what we were expecting. Now, provided they just signed their quarterback back, so that's going to make for a little bit better things. But the offensive line needs a lot of work, that's for sure. Number 12, the Columbia Vipers. The Vipers have kind of fallen off. I don't know what's happened to them. I know that they might have lost some talent, but they were not the same Vipers as what we saw last year, so I don't expect to see too much out of them this year. Number 13, the Oklahoma Hawks. Brand new to the 11-man scheme. They played an 8-man last year. They didn't have a good year last year. But they are bringing in some new talent, some players to watch, of course, Ace and Cross. Good quarterback. Check him out. Number 14, the Springfield Punishers. Last year was their first year. They didn't do so hot. You know, this is going to be another learning curve for them this year. And then number 15, the Kansas Diamondbacks. Diamondbacks, surprisingly, again, come back to the league. They did bolster up their numbers. Hopefully, they don't get too discouraged and are able to be competitive and maybe win a game or two. Who knows? So we're going to take another break, and when we come right back, we're going to talk about this year's matchups and predictions for Week 1 here on Semi-Pro Saturday.
Semi-Pro Saturday is brought to you in part by 950 Ways Graphics, professional graphics for players, coaches, and teams. Trust the pros at 950 Ways Graphics and look them up on Facebook at 950 Ways Graphics.
We are a community of athletes that celebrate success and development while having fun and being safe.
We do a pretty rigorous testing to all of our athletes to track progress as we go.
Our athletes are 10% faster, 179% stronger. They jump 4 inches higher on average. They're 8% more agile and 9% quicker.
You can come in, get extremely high quality training, accelerate your athletic abilities.
Head on over to prodaysports.com.
Come try, see if you enjoy it. For $1, it's worth it.
Welcome back, folks. We are getting into the most exciting part of Week 1, of course, and that is the scores and predictions here, brought to you by Grind Hard Performance and, of course, our friends at ReallySmartUSA.com. So, first game up that we're going to see, the Columbia Vipers taking on the St. Louis Falcons. That one's going to be a broadcasted game. We're actually going to put all of these games that we can see that actually have broadcast on this year's Gridiron Blitz on the Southern Sports Network. You'll be able to find that one on the Southern Sports Facebook page. It'll be a lot of fun. So we're just going to keep the cameras rolling. We'll bring them in as soon as we can get them going. We'll have the scores as they come in, too, on the bottom ticker. So something to really be able to watch out for, too. So we're really excited about that one. So the first game, we're going to give this one a 10-point favorite for the Falcons. Now, the Falcons probably could pull away more. From what we've seen out of the Vipers, I mean, honestly, this is a conservative score, but we haven't seen what the Falcons have done thus far. Now, last year, Week 1, they were phenomenal. Will we see it again? We're going to find out. All right, so game number 2, the Arkansas Warcats traveling up. I think it's Alton, if I'm not mistaken, Alton, Illinois, which is on the other side of the Mississippi, so just kind of crossways, if you will. So the Warcats coming out of northwest Arkansas, about 5 or 6 hour drive, and they're going to be taking on the Cougars. I think the Cougars are going to come away with this one again this year by 7 points in Alton. Moving right along, game number 3, the Arkansas Hawks, first-year team in the 11-man, taking on the Joplin Crusaders. This one's an easy 21-point victory for the Crusaders. Moving right along, the Wichita Skyhawks taking on the Oklahoma Bears. This is the Great Plains Conference game of the week, hands down. Last year, it came down to the final wire, if you will, in the fourth quarter. It was a 3-point game in the favor of the Bears. I think it's going to be the same outcome this year for the Bears, maybe more. The Bears have reloaded, if you could believe it or not. They have put together a squad. But you can never sleep on the Skyhawks, as we also know. So they could come back and win it by 3. They could win it by 7. Who knows? It's a toss-up, but I'm going with the home team. 3 points. So moving right along, the Oklahoma Gators taking on the St. Joe Bucks. The Gators, I think, are going to come back in a vengeance. I think they're going to score at least 14 points on this one. I haven't really liked what the St. Joe Bucks are bringing to the table thus far. So 14-point victory for the Gators. Game number, well, what are we up to? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, game number 7, the ECMO Eagles taking on the Springfield Punishers. The Eagles, 14-point victory, easy game for them. The Punishers are just going to have to find something. Hopefully they can score some points. I would love to see some points on the board. And finally, the gateway game of the week is the Cyclones taking on the Panthers. Panthers have reloaded. I really liked what I saw for them. But of course, they're going up against the Cyclones. Kansas City taking on St. Louis. I love the matchup, but I think it's going to be the Cyclones by 7, and they should be able to walk away with the victory. We'll be right back right after weather. Well, that's about it for us. I'm excited to get into next week's show because we should be finally getting stats. Oh man, I'm looking forward to it. Most of the teams, if not all the teams, have already signed up for Huddle, which does give them availability to break down their stats for them. So we should be able to bring up some leaderboards. Those are going to be great. Finding out who's the top quarterback, running back, tacklers, who's good on offense. All these things are going to make a huge difference in determining who's going to be on the All-Star game. And we have some big announcements coming up in the next few weeks, such as where we're going to be playing our championship game. That's being worked out right now. Some stories for what's going to happen in the All-Star game, possibly from the Victory Bowl, what we're going to be doing here at the Southern Sports Network. A lot of these stories are going to be unfolding here in the next up and coming weeks, so stay with us. So until then, folks, I'm Chris Dodson reminding you, get back with us next week and go watch some football.
Welcome to Opening Day 2025 in the Central Midwest Football League. I'm your host, Chris Dodson. Today's matchup, the late game. The newly founded Oklahoma Hawks in their second year, coming from 8-man to 11-man. And the Joplin Crusaders, last year's champions, back-to-back champions, looking for their three-peat this year in 2025. Will the Hawks, led by Asen Cross, come away with the victory, or will we see Ryan Johnson, new quarterback, pull away? We'll be right back after this.
Nestled in the heart of Baxter Springs, Missouri, the Little Brick Inn stands as a testament to local charm and genuine hospitality. As a locally owned establishment, we take pride in offering a unique and cozy retreat for our guests. To reserve your room, visit littlebrickinn.com.
My story isn't that different from a lot of people that grew up in a small town. My dream was always to play baseball, but as a kid, it's hard to prove yourself when you're so far away from the big leagues. When no one else thought I was good enough, our community did. From family to friends, coaches, and local businesses, my community built me into the player that I am today. And I'm just getting started. When you have the support of a community, anything is possible. First Community Bank, where community comes.
And welcome back, folks, as we are about ready to get this game underway. I'm your host, Chris Dodson, here at Fred G. Hughes Stadium in beautiful Joplin, Missouri, where it's a little soggy day. Unlike our weather prediction, hopefully we get our score prediction right, because it was supposed to be just overcast, but it has been raining off and on for the past few hours. A little bit of light rain, a little bit of heavy rain, a little bit of mixed bag. I even felt a little pea-sized hail as I was going out to my truck, so fun times here at Fred G. Hughes Stadium. 0-0, both teams, opening day here as the late game is going on. We had some scores coming in earlier today that, well, some of them were a little bit closer than expected. The Bucks and the Gators. Gators come away with this one 25-21 late in the game. The Bucks had an opportunity to win the game and just came up short just by a few seconds. So closer ones for the Gators as their road game, as they're able to get to 1-0. Right now, as we're looking at it, the Central Illinois Cougars are down 18-8 at the moment. And, of course, that's the Warhawks traveling all the way to Alton, Illinois, kind of a long ways away. And we're waiting for a scoreboard operator to get everything ready to rock and roll so we can kick this one off. Again, I'm your host, Chris Dodson, here on the Southern Sports Network for Semipro Saturday. And we're ready to get this ball rolling here pretty soon. Same ref crew as what we've had in years past, and we've got a brand new rule book that we have laid out, the brand new Semi-Pro football rule book, the official Semi-Pro football rule book, which is basically high school rules with modifications. Those modifications are 15-minute quarters, down by contact. You can advance out of the end zone, and you can advance a kick that's been blocked, and a few other modifications, so on and so forth, as everybody's getting lined up. I'll be joined in the booth here soon by none other than the legend himself, Alan Hilliard, who unfortunately had his game kind of called. You know, unfortunately for us broadcasters, last-minute chains of venues, if you have no press box, we have no way of broadcasting. So he's going to be joining me in the booth today, keeping us company here on the Southern Sports Network. Again, we have some games going across the league today. We're going to find some scores here in just a few minutes. Stick with us. We're going to go to a quick timeout commercial. We'll come right back. Well, hopefully, we can get this ball rolling. Literally.
With the taste of friends, family, and backyard barbecues, Bentonville Brewing Company. Family owned, family operated, family friendly. Pick up a 6-pack of your favorite IPA, porter, sours, or any one of the delicious flavors Bentonville Brewing has to offer. Or enjoy a cold one on tap at your favorite restaurant. Bentonville Brewing Company. Quality, consistency, assume your natural state. Bentonville Brewing Company, Bentonville, Arkansas.
Welcome back, folks, as we're about ready to get this one kicked off. Some more scores across the league right now. Halftime, the Kansas City Panthers are up on top of the Missouri Cyclones, 7-2. Now that would be a shocker if they pull away with that victory for week 1. So we're getting some equipment issues taken care of. Again, the score for halftime, the Kansas City Panthers 7 against the Missouri Cyclones 2. We picked the Cyclones to win by 7 on that one, but the Kansas City Panthers have bolstered up and really put together an impressive roster. As we seen a couple weeks ago, they handled the St. Joe Bucks pretty easily in the preseason game and were able to walk away with a victory. There was no question to it who was going to win that game. So we could be looking at another contender this year for the Panthers. Right now it's about 68 degrees, maybe 65. It feels like 54 with the wind. A little bit overcast and a little bit light rain off and on. So we're finally trying to get something going on here. I had an equipment issue that they're taking care of. Check. And joining me in the booth right now as we speak, the legend, the one and only Alan Hilliard. Hilliard, thanks for joining us here in the booth.
Oh, not a problem here. It is. I was in town, so figured I'd stop by and say hi.
Well, the kickoff is finally underway for this 2025 season as the Crusaders have the ball and it driving almost. Looks like he got to the 50-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Crusaders and great field position for the Crew for the first play of the year. And it looks like they're going to actually back them up to the 49-yard line or 51 if you're Canadian.
Yes. That is very interesting watching Canadian football.
It certainly is.
Especially the 3 downs. That makes a very different ball game.
3 downs, it's a bigger field, and the uprights are in where they used to be in the 1960s in the NFL. So they like head injuries apparently in Canada. So 1st and 10 for the Crusaders at the 49-yard line, headed up by number 9, Ryan Johnson is their new quarterback. Let's see how he does. Johnson's going to get flushed out of the pocket. He does make the pass. Does get it away, but errant. No good. Be 2nd and 10 as the Hawks were able to penetrate. Looked like an interior blitz came right for Johnson.
And that's a good job of the Hawks to really just get to that middle and apply the pressure with, not necessarily the sack, but they're enough to get rid of the ball very quickly.
You don't necessarily have to make the sack, like you say. You just got to disrupt the timing. As they're coming out in 4 wide, Johnson's going to hand this one off on the inside. He's got great field yardage right there. He's going to break it to the outside. Big yards, and that's going to take him to about the 21-yard line. 1st and 10.
So big 30-yard gain on the outside there on the right. Found the hole and a little bit of help by the secondary. Big 1st down play in scoring territory, or just about scoring territory.
That was run by number 43, Dante Sample, for the 1st down. He sampled some yardage. And we are almost to the red zone, 1st and 10. Clock is rolling now, as we've got the same 4 wide set. Johnson's going to roll out to the bottom of your screen. He's going to get whipped, but it comes right out of it, right at the end zone. He throws and no good.
Good job trying to get the pass off, but again, the defense right there pushing the quarterback, not necessarily a sack again, but just in that territory where they got to get rid of the ball or take the loss on yards.
Yeah, ball intended for number 10, Miles Sample. So we got a 2nd down and 10 at the 21-yard line. Clock is rolling again. I've noticed the Hawks are trying to get inside, and they're bringing in some inside blitzes to try to get Johnson off of his game. This one's going to be a reverse, and it's going to go nowhere.
I love that spy right down the middle down there. Just waiting for, they read that handoff like a book.
They certainly did. That was number 10, Lorenzo Fagan Jr.
We're going to have a penalty on the sideline over here.
Our first flag of the day. And somebody's not happy. That's Jacob Friend, who doesn't look very friendly, took off his helmet.
I would imagine the officials here are going to come out a little early here and try to set the tone, at least for some of this talking early in the game.
Yep, and that's a holding call against Friend. Back him up 10 yards. They were in great field position, but now are going to be doing the two-step backward.
Those holding penalties, they will cost you a game. I've seen it happen many times.
That's going to back him up all the way to the 45-yard line. How do you go from the 21 to the 45? Well, it's from the spot of the foul.
This is third and a long way to go.
Third down, 4 wide set again. Johnson is going to take the snap. He's going to roll back out to the top of your screen. Long pass. Has he got somebody open? Oh, broken up at the last minute. Great defensive play by the Hawks. As that for sure was going to be 6. But not today, as the Hawks were able to knock that one away. It's the power of the Dreads, Alan.
I think if he would have grabbed onto that he would have fell in for a touchdown on that one, the momentum.
So 4th down on the 41-yard line, and it appears that they're not going to punt.
Looks like we're going Madden style today.
Could be. So they're going to bring Willis out. In substitution, actually, it's going to be Ryan Johnson back. So he's going to stay on the field. They're not going to punt it away. Line to gain, Allen, is at the 11-yard line. So they need to get to the 11-yard line to pick up this first down.
That is 30, I believe, about 30 roughly yards to get there.
A long way. Johnson's got the ball. Getting into the pocket. Ball is in the air and is no good. That's going to be a turnover on downs. 1st and 10 for the Hawks. That ball was intended for Charles West.
We're going to have an officials conference here, so they must have seen something. I don't see a flag on the field.
Neither do I.
I was just going to say, before the officials, that would have been...
That's an ineligible receiver downfield call as he's tapping his hat. Or is that 12 men on the field, and that's going to bring up. That's going against the Hawks. So you can't have an ineligible on the field if you're defense.
Nope, especially 30, I believe 31 yards, whatever they're at right there.
Something like that, yeah.
So you're going to give them, 10, 15 yards on that? Let's see where the ball.
So are we replaying 3rd down? So the ball's going to be placed at the 30-yard line. It's not a personal foul, so that's not an automatic first down. So it should be 3rd down, and line to gain still should be back at the 11-yard line. Score update real quick. At the halftime, 19-8 Warcats over the Cougars in Alton, Illinois. Warcats coming out strong in their first showing of the year. Johnson is going to go to the top of your screen. He's pointing at somebody down the field. He's going to throw it. He's got a man open inside, but is blocked away. No penalty on the play. That should bring up 4th down.
And that defense out there is playing an amazing game right now on the secondary, defending those passes.
You know, I think I was mistaken on that. I think that was actually 4th down, and it was.
I think it was, yes.
So they replayed the down, and they didn't lose the down, so I was a little confused on where we're at. It's first game jitters. I blame this one on the lack of scotch today. I did not have my 18-year-old McKellen today that I usually do on game days, but we'll pass through this one. Hawks coming out. Asen Cross now. It's going to hand it off to the top of your screen. Going to pick up a couple on the play. Should be second down and 8.
Good run for the Hawks to start the drive on that. I had a lovely motorcycle ride today due to some change of plans earlier today.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Panthers had to cancel with you because of a change of venue at the last few days. You know, they unfortunately had a field issue where they didn't have enough staff. The school didn't have enough staff to be able to supply, so they had to go to another auxiliary location that didn't have a press box.
Or stands.
Who needs stands and press boxes? Come on now.
Makes the game more fun sometimes.
You know, whenever you can be able to see, that's kind of fun. So there is a penalty on the play, and that's going to put the Hawks in first down yardage, and that is going to be placed at the 45-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Hawks. Asen Cross getting the calls to his wide receivers. Cross is going to call his own number on the design quarterback keeper. That should get him to about the 50-yard line, and that's where they're going to mark him. 5-yard gain.
And again, a good run there, seeing the open middle and just taking advantage of it.
And why not? I mean, this is your first game in 11-man. They were 8-man last year. Had a struggle last year in 8-man, but they were able to bolster up their roster in Grove and have come out and have kind of controlled their own destiny at this point.
Those short runs really is where a lot of championship teams are made. 5 yards here, 4 yards here.
4-yard set. That's going to be a pitch out, almost snuffed out on the outside. It's going to try to juke. Is going to pick up a first down yardage. 1st down and 10 with some nifty moves. Got some ankles juked right there.
And get another situation. Good short yard run. Turn into another first down out of that.
That's number 1, Quan Sanders on the run. He had the snap count right. Quan, 2, 3, 4. Okay, there we go. I'm busting out all the dad jokes today, by the way.
I'm liking the blue and white jerseys of the Hawks, by the way, there.
Yeah, good contrast. Crossing the pistol formation now. It's going to hand the ball off on the inside. We do have laundry on the field. That back judge usually indicates that there's a hold or an illegal shift.
I'd say this is coming backwards here by the judge's reaction.
I'm going to call it a legal shift on this one.
That would be my guess on the backfield.
Oh, there it is. I can read the future calls. I have ESPN. So legal shift against the Hawks is going to be declined. And it's going to bring up 2nd down at the 44-yard line. Line to gain is going to be at the, looks like the 34. So 2nd and 10. 4 wide. Twins to the top and to the bottom. Cross is going to do the play action. He's in trouble. Does get bailed out, but he's not going to get bailed out there as he is crucified by the Crusaders. That's going to bring up 3rd down and long. Ball's at the 48-yard line.
And that was a good job of avoiding the initial sack on that, but the secondary play, not able to get away from the 3rd Crusader there, waiting for him.
Yeah, we'll have to pick up some of the replays here soon. We have a brand new producer today. We're breaking him in today, so we're going to give him a little bit of grief and have some fun with him today. Cross is going to throw under the underneath crossing route and is going to pick up some crucial yards. It will be 3rd down and short, be about 3 to 4 yards shy of where they need to be. Ball's at the 38-yard line. Needs to get to the 34 for the 1st down.
I think last time I had a new person running a show, I left the computer and said, here you go, here's how it works. I got to go do another game. And I said, good luck.
That's cruel and unusual punishment. Speaking of which, here's Cross. He's going to get tattooed.
And that was just a statement right there, exclamation point at the end of that drive.
Yeah, we're going to see that again on the replay.
Send them the message.
We got it on super slow-mo today.
Looks like we're going to take I don't know if we're getting a timeout or we're just swapping over here, but that would have been, it's 4th down.
It is 4th down, so we're going to have.
So no punts in this game so far.
We're about to get it sooner or later. All right, we got everything adjusted now for our replay to get back to real time on it.
Looks like 4 receivers here for Joplin.
So 1st and 10 for Johnson. He's going to hand it off on the inside to West. West is going to get tripped up a little bit. He's going to bounce it to the outside. He's got some room to get some first down. He might have one more block to get it. He's going to get this one. Touchdown, Crusaders.
And West on that, avoiding the sack, able to run it in after the passing the one player that could stop him.
He went from east to west, figuratively and literally, and picked up the 6 points.
So our first score of the game is Joplin on the board now. See if they can tack on that extra point. Or are we going to go for 2 to continue the throwing pattern?
Might as well. I mean, shoot. They do have a kicker on the team this year. So I would want to give them a little bit of practice.
I think with the rain, though, it may be a better decision right now here.
You got a great point there. So Johnson's going to line up 4 wide. Try to get the inside. He's going to go for that nice little fade. He gets it.
I think he got it.
He did. 2 points for your troubles. So your score, 8-0. Crusaders early in the first quarter. We'll be right back. You're watching Semipro Saturday on the Southern Sports Network.
Semipro Saturday is brought to you in part by 950 Ways Graphics. Professional graphics for players, coaches, and teams. Trust the pros at 950 Ways Graphics and look them up on Facebook at 950 Ways Graphics.
Welcome back, folks. It is 8-0, your score here at Fred G. Hughes Stadium. Not to be confused with other names that I might have called this before in the past, but we're here in beautiful Joplin, Missouri.
This is the first I've been to this stadium. A very nice stadium, actually.
This was built in 1976. It's almost as old as I am. Almost. About a year off.
It's very similar to the Joplin High School Stadium, almost, the way the concrete bleachers and all that.
Yeah, concrete is cheap.
It used to be the way to build these back in the day before the invention of steel.
Well, you got a little bit of steel beams, rebar, supports, and so on and so forth. So here's another thing I've noticed also is with the wind being on the ground like it is, they're having a hold for that kick. So that might be another reason why they decided to go for 2. That is a funky Cole Medina kick right there, and that's going to be taken at the 20-yard line by the Hawks. Hawks are going to try to get some blocking on the outside, and he does. Great field position, does a juke stop, and is able to pick up the first down. Ball should be placed at the 45-yard line, and it is.
I'm thinking that kick is not where it was supposed to go the way the reaction was right there.
Maybe not. But some good blocking. Gets them some good special teams. So far, the Hawks have been able to get some great special teams play on 2 drives now. But they're going to have to get some points on the board and fast if they want to stay in this game, because I have a feeling between Johnson just getting warmed up, this is his first official game of the year. They did have a couple of scrimmages, but they weren't able to get that game time scrimmage like some of the other teams were able to get. So Asen Cross is back. Trips to the bottom of your screen. He's going to do a screen play to the bottom here, and it's going to pick up a first down and a little bit extra. First down for the Hawks.
Looks like the Hawks slowing down their strategy a little bit here on this offensive drive. Just kind of dumped it low and seen what the defense would do to test them out, I'd say, to start this drive.
Dante Crutchfield on the reception. Their receivers are wise. You know, they're able to stop, and they're looking for a hole just to be able to squeak through. And that's what you're going to need in this game for sure. Trips to the top of your screen this time. Cross back in the shotgun. Single back formation. Surprised that there was no call on the offsides.
I was about to say something there about that lining up right there, or that play by Joplin.
Yeah, the defensive end was definitely over the line of scrimmage, at least by our angle. Wind is starting to howl a little bit. 2nd down and 10. Ball is at the 44-yard line in Crusaders territory. This game is brought to you in part by our brand new partners in crime, Grind Hard Performance, makers of some great material and some good gear. We're excited to have them aboard. Trips to the top of your screen now. That was a design fake and draw, and that's going to be another first down. Great run by number 1, Quan Sanders.
A 21-yard pickup in that range there on that.
Yeah, Cross was able to really fake the screen to the outside of the top of your screen, and just a nice simple draw play to pick up that first down. First and 10, ball is at the 29-yard line. Cross has got it again. He's going to be flushed out of the pocket. He's been dangerous out of the pocket. Ball is incomplete, though. Ball was just a little underthrown. 2nd down.
Good pressure by Joplin that time there. Just able enough to really just miss the sack on that.
Yeah. Just barely missed it. So we're going to try to get you some more score updates here soon. Cross is back again. 4 wide this time. Inside draw. Nothing doing. And they're going to take a couple yards loss on the play. Loss of 3. Back them up to the 31-yard line.
That's one thing with kind of the wet, nasty, slippery conditions down there right now. It really, if you can't get a good passing play going right now, that run game, unless you're wide open, the defense is going to have the advantage right at the moment.
They certainly are. So
it's like 3 receivers this time here.
So twins to the top of your screen. A little bit early play right there. It is called. That's going to be against the Hawks. It's going to back them up. 5 yards.
So I'll make this about an 18-yard difference here to get to first down, close to, looks like the 19 up there.
Hawks got a little flustered as the incoming blitz was about to be prevalent. Timeout. Hawks, we're going to take it with them. 6:05 left to go. 8-0 is your score here in Joplin.
Semi-Pro Saturday is brought to you in part by 950 Ways Graphics. Professional graphics for players, coaches, and teams. Trust the pros at 950 Ways Graphics and look them up on Facebook at 950 Ways Graphics.
Welcome back. 6:05. 8-0 is your score. We're at a third down and long as we've had a sack from the Crusaders. Kind of spoil the momentum for the Hawks, and then, of course, they had a holding call, back them up even further. So we're line to gain is at the 19-yard line. You do the math, Alan.
It is 19 yards at the 41 is where they're starting from.
Cross rolling out, having to avoid defenders that are flying in. Ball is intercepted on an errant pass. Joplin's going to return this one. They could go all the way, and they do. Mick pick six. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. He's loving it as he's kicking the ball out, which is a personal foul, and Elvis gets knocked to the ground. That's Trey Rutker with his first Mick pick six of the year.
But they're all coming back to this side of the field here.
And we might have some laundry on the play. I don't see any flags down, do you?
Well, if it's a flag down here, that would be after the touchdown, so they would not be coming back this far.
Well, that would negate what was
but this would
a 76-yard Mick pick six, which we need to get sponsored by McDonald's so I can do that, you know? I need to have that sponsorship. McDonald's, if you're listening, it's time.
That would work.
Time to get with Big Daddy on the Southern Sports Network, and we can make this magic happen as we're seeing some magic on the field with the officials, trying to give an explanation as to why this play might not exist.
Did you forget to get the mic for the officials down there?
Well, here's the thing. I used to be an official, so I do not want to electrocute the guys. You know, I do have some feelings and emotions for that.
Just use a lesser 9-volt battery.
A little 6-volt. Just a little spark, a little zing.
It appears.
So it looks like they're going to be going backwards, so that's going to go against the Crusaders, and that should pick up a first down.
They're going to pick up a 5-yard penalty. I'm not sure what it was, but it was enough to get rid of that 6 points off the board.
Yep, so no big pick six. It is actually third down by the box on the other side of the field, so third down and about 12 as they're still breathing new life into this Hawks team. Now, that was a double count. That is a flag. Who moved first? So we're starting to get a little sloppy here.
Yeah, I'm thinking the offense maybe jumped on that a little bit.
I think you're right. Dead ball foul, and it's encroachment actually against the Crusaders. That's going to give them an extra 5 yards. So it'll be third down and 7 by my arithmetic.
So that is 10 free yards right there and 6 points that they've given up with penalties right now.
That's frustrating. That's very frustrating.
Especially the 6 points. Those are the points that's the number that really matters.
It does. That and the momentum. I mean, you get something like that, a Mick pick six. I mean, it's a boost to everybody. So score updates right now. Got a surprise for you after this play.
That is caught. That's going to be a first down inside the 10.
Great pitch and catch.
And that'll bring up first and goal from the 9-yard line, it looks like.
So score update, 10 minutes left to go Bears are up 20, or excuse me, Bears are up 30-20 against the Skyhawks, which I predicted that one to be a 3-point game, but we knew this game was going to be tight. But it's 10 points is still not bad. I mean, it's still a reputable score. I thought it was going to be much tighter than that. Trips to the top of your screen. Cross is going to dump it out to the outside on the pitch. He's going to try to cut back in. He's going to go nowhere but backwards at the 20-yard line. Second down and goal way back.
That is not where the running back wants to see when he turns his head and sees two Crusaders looking at him right there.
That's one of those BVD moments where you might have a load in your pants. The ball is going to be placed at the 18-yard line. Second down and goal.
So one thing to remember, it is still early in the season, though. We got some pretty good matchups coming up later this year still.
There's some excellent matchups coming up. 4 wide, cross with a single back. He's going to roll out, and he's going to call his own number.
He's got to take it now.
And he's got nowhere to go. Does pick up a couple on the play. Should be getting at the 15 or the 16-yard line. So it'll be third down and goal. Cross was, for a minute there, he looked like he was wanting to pass the ball and realized, I'm kind of beyond the scrimmage line. Can't do that. Ball's going to be placed at the 15-yard line at the 5-hash, third and goal.
I would almost double up on either the right side or left side and try to draw off one of those safeties or defenders back there and try to get something in the corners. Because right now this front line defense is doing very well for Joplin to keep them contained back there.
Jacob Friend definitely not making any friends on the line, but is able to get penetration. Cross is going to roll out again to the bottom of your screen. Looks like he was going to dump it off. He's having to use his wheels. Helmet comes flying off. Ball's in the air. It looks like it hit the ground. Incomplete. That brings up fourth down.
And the player looks like has to reset the play here. I believe that's the rules, if that's the same for here.
It is. Then that would be number 40, Dante Reese. So there was a penalty on the play, holding against the Hawks. It's going to count.
That will move them back close to the 30 here.
And land far, far away.
Depending on where. Now, is that a spot penalty? Or is that 10 yards?
Should be a
10 yards from the
10 yard
spot.
from the spot.
Okay.
So it's way down yonder. So they're at the 25-yard line.
Oh, so they're just going to do 10-yard penalty.
So third and goal at the 25. Cross is back. He's going to see some blitz on the outside. That ball is intercepted again. So 2 for the price of 1 today in the same drive. And provided that there's no penalties, which there does not look to be, that is a pick. So one that actually works for them, changeover in possession, 2:47 left to go in the first. Your score's 8-0. You're watching Semi-Pro Saturday on the Southern Sports Network. We'll be right back. Three, two, one, hit stop. Stop ad. And we're back on that short break. Technical difficulties on the first game, of course. We're going to find some gremlins along the way. We'll figure them out. Today's game is brought to you in part by RealtyMartUSA.com. Check them out for all the best realty in the area from the 4-state area here in Missouri, Arkansas, Oklahoma, and Kansas. Everything from residential to industrial, land, everything in between. Check them out, RealtyMart.com. And that's a first down. Nice inside run.
It's a 12-yard pickup for Joplin on that. 1st and 10, looks like around the 43.
And that was run by number 43, Dante Sample. Sample's getting himself some good yards racked up today already. As the Crusaders are not messing around and are just trying to go for the jugular now. Some of these inside handoffs. Johnson, 4 wide. Fake reverse. He's going to call his own number to the outside. Picks up a first down and a lot more. 1st and 10 for the Crusaders.
And again, another 20-plus yard pickup here. That'll bring them into Oklahoma territory also. So
great play call to go fake that reverse like they had that was busted up on that second drive that they had and just keep it for himself. Nobody was there. Great blocking, too. So 4 wide again. This time Johnson's going to be in the pocket. He's going to throw a long ball, and he's got it. 10 toes challenge accepted and won. And that was caught by Tajon Curry. Curry with his first reception of the game gets him in the red zone, and the Crusaders have a chance to put some more points on the board. Ball's going to be placed at the 14-yard line. They do have an opportunity to pick up a first down. Score update here. Oklahoma City and Kansas Skyhawks, or Wichita Skyhawks. 3:04 left to go in the game. 33-20 is your score. Bears are up. Johnson with 4 wide again. It's going to be flushed out of the pocket. He's calling for somebody's number. He's going to get rid of the ball, and it's intercepted this time out of the end zone. 1st and 10 for the Hawks. Johnson should have never thrown that ball as the Hawks had that one read and just jumped.
This point in the this point in the drive right there. Sorry, I got tongue twisted there, but you want to really just probably run the ball the first time on that. Try to get a little closer in. Either that or you're going to the end zone. You're not going short of the end zone. At least if I'm calling it right there.
Well, Johnson's first interception of the year comes at a crucial time for the Hawks, as this game could have gotten away from him pretty early, but 28 seconds left to go in the first quarter. Hawks are breathing new life deep in their own territory.
And from their own 8-yard line here, they got a long way to go on this, but they're able to move the ball pretty well earlier on the ground. We'll see if they stick with that.
Twins to the bottom of your screen now. Cross is going to call for a man in motion. Going to hand it off on the reverse. Nothing doing. Has to go back up top. It's going to pick up a few yards on the play.
I believe he's going to be short by a yard.
Good recognition to where to run to, because there was nothing going down yonder, down south.
Oh, they're going to give a spot way back there.
So ball's going to be placed at the 12-yard line, 2nd down. And that's the end of the quarter with your score, 8-0. The Crusaders are up on top. We'll be right back right after this.
I can feel the warmth deep down in my bones. I know
back here. Alan Hilliard here, and we are ready for the second quarter coming out. There is Mr. Dodson there joining us. So what's your plan here, Mr. Dodson, on starting out in this quarter?
Well, if I'm on offense, I keep doing what I'm doing. You know, they have a good rotation of passing plays and some running plays. Your receivers are smart and are getting open. Your running back is doing a great job of finding the holes. Offensive line hasn't done too bad. So I say keep doing it. Defensively, you're going to have to contain Ace and Cross. You're going to have to make sure that you don't get exploited on any of these draw calls that they're doing, and just kind of keep your contain.
I agree. I think the biggest thing is you got to contain that run, because that draw is really racking up some yards.
Cross is back with us, 4 wide again. Both teams seem to be favoring the 4 wide shotgun set. Another handoff. Sweep this time. Doesn't get him anything. Matter of fact, it might lose a half a yard on the play.
So that should bring up 3rd down, I believe. And still about 7 yards to go on the play.
We've got our first flop of the game, and we've got a penalty now. That might be a personal foul, because we saw Drew Van Gilder fall onto the ground. It looked more like a flop to me, but...
Yeah, I didn't see any real contact on that.
So it is a dead ball penalty. And that's going against the Hawks. And we got offset penalties. So we get to replay the down. So all that for nothing.
I always find it funny whenever you get these penalties where you get 3 or 4 penalties, like one team has 3 and one has 1 penalty, and they just
offset
everything and replay everything over again.
It's like nothing happened. Okay. I mean, it's the first game, so you're going to see some of the little chippiness here. But Grove, the Hawks coming in from Grove, Oklahoma, and if you've never been there, Grove is right on the lake, and they've got a really awesome place called Shangri-La, which is a cool little resort. Trips to the bottom of your screen, inside handoff draw that we were talking about. This time, they're not going to let him get the first down, or are they?
I think they're going to call him right at the marker or just past it.
They sure did. You are right. My eyesight needs to get checked. That is first down and 10. Ball's at the 18-yard line.
I do think they may have been generous on that a little bit, though.
Might have been. They're trying to get the chain set now.
Looks like a timeout's called by Oklahoma there.
So the Hawks are going to take a timeout, and we're going to take it with them. Even though the clock is still running, we'll be right back.
Nestled in the heart of Baxter Springs, Missouri, the Little Brick Inn stands as a testament to local charm and genuine hospitality. As a locally owned establishment, we take pride in offering a unique and cozy retreat for our guests. To reserve your room, visit littlebrickinn.com.
My story isn't that different from a lot of people that grew up in a small town. My dream was always to play baseball, but as a kid, it's hard to prove yourself when you're so far away from the big leagues. When no one else thought I was good enough, our community did. From family to friends, coaches, and local businesses, my community built me into the player that I am today. And I'm just getting started. When you have the support of a community, anything is possible. First Community Bank, where community comes from.
Welcome back, folks. 14 minutes on the dot in the second quarter. He scores still 8-0. The Crusaders had an opportunity to advance and extend the lead, but was picked off in the end zone by the Hawks. The Hawks have been able to kind of nickel and dime their way, and they're at the 18-yard line right now, 1st and 10, as we're ready to get back into this game. Trips to the bottom of your screen. Cross is still back in the shotgun formation. Officials trying to get everybody set and talking to the coaching staff. Get a shot of that coaching staff right there, that they're kind of giving an explanation to some of the calls that are going on.
I think the players are ready, but the officials aren't quite ready down there.
I think the fans are getting antsy now. Like, let's get back to the game. And we are back to the game. Trips to the bottom of your screen. Cross is back in the shotgun again. Cross is going to throw that screenplay, but there was no blocking, and we got another.
I believe we're going to have a face mask on that one.
It usually is, and we've eliminated the 5-yard face mask, so this will be a 15-yard personal foul against the Crusaders if that's what it is, and that'll make up another first down for the Hawks.
Yep. Now, one thing about the game pace is working in doing some of the arena work with the instant replay rules that some of these leagues have. You can get a 3 to 5 minute delay like every few minutes just by, whether a tackle's legal sometimes or I mean, there's a lot of circumstances that happens.
15-yard penalty from the spot of that foul. That's going to put the Hawks at the 35-yard line, as they've been able to capitalize on the penalties.
Hawks really about 4 or 5 minutes into this drive here have about, it's like 40 yards to gain.
Cross's pass is knocked away, almost intercepted. Should have been intercepted, but that ball's a little slippery, from all this rain that we've had today. So second down. That's the first long pass that Cross has thrown. Beautiful looking pass. It's just, he shouldn't have thrown it to that receiver. It's a little covered.
Yeah. And coming down, I didn't see rain till about other side of Springfield down here. So.
Yeah, it was kind of slow going.
Looks like 4 receivers on this play here for the Hawks.
Cross almost gets sacked. He does get sacked.
And a third down for Oklahoma here coming up.
He got sacked by T.J. Austin on the play. So it'll be a third down. Ball is at the 31-yard line.
So 14 yards, you really need to pass it here. This is, unless you can draw off a run somehow.
Yeah, it's possible.
Aside from the rain, the weather out here, temperature-wise, is great.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. Looks like the Hawks just got themselves, not the Hawks, but the Warcats have just got themselves another touchdown. We're waiting for that official score to come in. Cross is trying to get flushed out of the pocket. He is. Ball is batted, and that brings up fourth down.
That was a great defensive play. Get the hands up there. Just knocked the ball out of bounds, kept away from anyone else getting in touch with that ball.
Yeah, Cross was trying to find something because he was getting swarmed.
So big decision here. I mean, I'd be kicking this if it was me.
Oh, all day. And twice on Sunday.
I mean, I'd be kicking it somewhere down here out of bounds, away from anyone at this point. But I don't see
a kicker on the field, Alan.
Unless we're doing a quick kick, which I have yet to see them do.
And that's what we're going to get. That is a quick kick, and that's going to be taken out at the 45-yard line.
Not a very long punt, but that is an effective punt to get the ball out of the, at least away from the end zone on the other side of the 50-yard line.
Absolutely. Let's try to find some more scoring updates here. Final score, 33-20. Bears win their home opener against the Wichita Skyhawks and advance on and keep that first place spot. And it looks like we got another, I don't know if this is final or not, 14-6 Panthers over the Cyclones.
That is a big win for the Panthers right there.
Yeah, if that's the final score, that is a huge win. 4 wide. Johnson hands it off to the inside. Elliott with the ball. The big bruiser's going to pick up a few. I don't know.
5-yard pickup, it looks like. So Panthers gaining probably a spot on that, depending on where the other teams on the top fall here. But
yeah, we're going to have fun on the show this week, aren't we?
Yep.
We got to make some decisions on where to put these guys in rankings. And, the Panthers, that's a huge improvement. 4 wide, tight formation to the top of your screen. Looks like we might have some laundry on the field. Looks like a defender was just a little bit early on the takeoff and the snap count. I would decline it.
Yes.
That's a first down yardage right there.
And the officials moving the chains forward, and I'd say the coach's relationship.
Sam Sturgis is handing the...
He's like, nope, don't want that.
Yeah. Kind of an illegal move right there. You can't pick up an official's flag. Only in semi-pro can you get away with the shenanigans. 1st and 10 for the Crusaders as they are just moving the ball up the throat. Down the throat, I should say.
I believe in high school that would be a pretty automatic 15-yard unsportsmanlike right there.
Yeah, and that would be close to ejection. But we're a little less formal here in the Southern, in the semi-pro. So we got a little bit of breakage here. I don't know what the officials are doing.
They got the chains figured out. The officials are, I think we're all set.
All right, we are ready to rock and roll. 4 wide again. Johnson in the backfield. Elliott in the back right next to Johnson. Going to fake handoff again. Play action. Johnson's going to try to find something down the field. That ball is up, and it is up again and drops incomplete. It had an opportunity not once, but twice.
That was either would have been a very good catch for the Crusaders, or that would have been a very good interception for Oklahoma if they would have tipped the right direction there.
It would have. But it was like Plinko. You ever watch The Price is Right? You're sick on a school day and you watched, back in my day it was Bob Barker. It was much better then, by the way. But back then you'd watch Plinko. Now, that was the game right there.
I think it's a change of times where when I live, the cable company does not provide cable anymore.
Wow.
Everything's internet-based. So,
man, times are changing fast, aren't they?
Technology is moving.
Trips to the top of your screen, man in motion. He's going to hand it off on the inside to West. West is going to pick up maybe a couple yards on the play. Well defended by the Hawks defensive front.
That'll bring up 2nd and 17-ish.
Something-ish, yeah.
Yep.
17-ish is good. Got to give a shout-out, a plug, actually, to one of my favorite places around this area in Aurora, Missouri, a place called Hogtied Barbecue. If you're ever in the mood for hogtied or for barbecue, that is the place to go to. Take it from a fat boy. This is the best barbecue I've ever had. Charles West on the outside. He's going to take it. He's going to hurdle. And is able to get the ball to about the 48-yard line.
So one thing here with the hurdling in high school, technically that's an unsportsmanlike according to the Missouri high school rules.
It is, and that is the NFHS rules.
And I'm just curious that they did not enforce that with high school rules.
Yeah, that's not a part of the changes to the NFHS either. Hey, quick score update, though. In the fourth quarter, 3 minutes left to go. The Warcats over the Cougars, 25-10. Now that is a big-time score right there, driving all the way up to Alton, Illinois. That's another team that we got to watch out for now. The Warcats,
Oh, yeah, absolutely. From, I believe, Northwest Arkansas down there.
Absolutely. They took some of the Generals players, and looks like they're making some huge improvements.
And again, another pass here. It's caught West, I believe. He's going to pick up a first and then some more.
Yep, and that is West, and that is a horse collar, and that is going to be called, and it's going to get him closer in, about half the distance to the goal from the spot of the foul.
That'll push them to the 6-7 yard line here after the spot, probably.
And zoom in on this flag, or on the call here. Personal foul. It is a horse collar, as predicted. I'm 3 for 3 on predictions today. Half the distance to the goal. Ball was placed at the 6.5 yard line. Like you said, 6-ish. In the red zone, 1st and goal.
Looks like a single back here, maybe down the handed off, and there it is.
That's a pistol formation. Elliott with the ball, and he's not going to get anything but backwards on that play.
And he is hurt, it looks like, after the hit down there.
That is no good. He is one of their specialty backs, especially on 3rd down. And we are going to take a quick break. 7:36 left to go. Your school's still 8-0.
With a taste of friends, family, and backyard barbecues. Bentonville Brewing Company. Family owned, family operated, family friendly. Pick up a 6-pack of your favorite IPA, porter, sours, or any one of the delicious flavors Bentonville Brewing has to offer. Or enjoy a cold one on tap at your favorite restaurant. Bentonville Brewing Company. Quality, consistency. Assume your natural state. Bentonville Brewing Company, Bentonville, Arkansas.
Semipro Saturday is brought to you in part by 950 Ways Graphics. Professional graphics for players, coaches, and teams. Trust the pros at 950 Ways Graphics and look them up on Facebook at 950 Ways Graphics.
And we are back, folks, as we got an injury coming off the field. Number 32, Kyle McMillan, on the play.
And 2nd down and 9 or so here. And goal, 2nd and goal.
2nd and goal, clock is going to run. So it was not Elliott that was hurt. He's in the backfield right now. Johnson is going to call his own number. It looks like he's going to try to take this one in himself, and he does!
Beautiful touchdown on that. We have an injured Grove Hawk back here.
And Johnson with his first run-in touchdown of the year. Calls his own number, beautifully called.
Good planned, I believe that was a planned play right there. Fake handoff and
yeah, it looked like it was a design run. So you saw that on replay. Is beautifully done and well executed. It's up 14-0 now. And again, just leave your kicker at home. Leave the kicker at home day. So we're just going to go for 2. 4 wide again. Single back set in the pistol formation. Johnson's going to take it. Going to hand off to the big bruiser. Mr. Elliott has decided that he's going to go ahead and play a little visit to the house. 2 points for your troubles. 16-0. With 7 minutes left to go, we'll be right back right after these messages.
Semi-Pro Saturdays brought to you in part by 950 Ways Graphics. Professional graphics for players, coaches, and teams. Trust the pros at 950 Ways Graphics and look them up on Facebook at 950 Ways Graphics.
You got to be kidding me.
We are back here again for the kickoff. Joplin up 16-0 right now.
I got a shocking score update for you. Shocking. This is the shocker. 2 in the pink, 1 in the snake shocker. 22-14, Punishers over Eagles.
Wow.
Yeah. And a little pooch kick. And it looks like the Hawks are able to recover at the 45-yard line. But wow, the Punishers come away with the first victory of the season against the ECMO Eagles. Who would have thought the ECMO Eagles would have lost to the Punishers?
That is sneaking away from that game right there, I mean.
Yeah. Okay, now if this is the case, the Diamondbacks are going to have to win now.
Yes.
They have to. I mean, if they don't, then I don't know what to think at this point, but wow. Falcons over the Vipers, 20-6 in the fourth.
So Falcons doing a fairly good job today up there. They're playing up in St. Louis at Rockwood Summit High School this year, which is also home of the Falcons.
You know, that is a smart marketing move right there. Get with the high school with the same logo. Or at least, you know, with the same mascot.
You know, if someone picked Tigers for a CMFL team, they'd have an easy choice of stadiums.
So many. All right, Cross is back in shotgun formation. Trips to the top of your screen. And 5 wide. That ball's behind him, but is able to get picked up. And he's going to go backwards. Loss of 5 on the play. Second down and 15.
So that's one of those dangerous throws right there that if that ball gets loose right there, the lineman or someone falls on it, that is a turnover.
Well, we got a final score update. 25-10, Warcats over the Cougars.
So Warcats holding out a first week win here. A lot of changes to look at here and scores to look at for the rankings coming up.
Got a big blitz coming. Cross is going to get the ball off. Almost intercepted again. He had Butterfingers. So brings up third down and 15 at the 40-yard line.
He dropped it and it cruelly bounced right back in his hands.
Man, that's adding salt to the wound. That's like getting hit in the crotch and laughed at, you know? You don't like that. That's just bad.
So 6:07 to go. It is third down here.
I guess there are some guys that kind of pay extra for that kind of service, but they're in New York. Yeah, they're New Yorkers. So ball's at the 40-yard line at the 5 hash, 6:07.
They don't have sweet tea out there.
No, they don't. No.
They give you something warm in a cup thing that, I don't know what they call that.
You know, there's some stranger things. You know, my wife just came back from France. They have to pay for water. And it's not even good water. Ball's in the air. Looks like there was some PI going on there, but it doesn't look like it's going to be called. Fourth down.
Let's say he's down over there, the defender, but
Hawks player is down, but he's on his own sideline. Yeah.
I would imagine there's some interference on that one.
There looked to be PI on that.
That's about like the circumstance when I had a youth basketball player. I told him, here, you set a pick and make sure your man doesn't get in the way. And he gets up to him, he's twice size. He picks him up and moves him. and the official comes over, goes, "You can't do that." I'm like, "No,
okay,
probably
I
not."
Guess not. You know.
I'd explain to him,
new.
you can't pick them up and physically pick them up out of the way. That's not how that works.
So 4th down, Cross is going to punt it with that little pooch punt. That ball is going to go out at about the 38-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Crusaders.
And we still, nope, we're going to be, I think we're going to be a 1st down here. Their officials are sorting everything out.
We got a penalty on the play? I didn't see a flag, did you?
No.
Should be a change of possession.
Should be back here because he's got the ball back here at the 46. And it is 1st down back here. A lot of first week jitters here. That's why I'm a cross-country and track official.
There you go.
4 shots of the gun and your day's over.
That's it.
Track a little bit longer.
So 1st down and 10. Ball is at the, what is that, the 47-yard line. 46-yard line, I'm sorry. Crusaders have the ball. Opportunity to extend the lead before halftime, which they got hot dogs down there. Halftime hot dogs here at the Fred G. Hughes Stadium. Johnson's going to hand the ball off to Elliott. Elliott's going to get about the 50-yard line. Close to it. Looks like 49 1/4.
I'm wanting some triple barbecue meat sandwich on the way home is my goal.
Oh, the Bucky special.
That's right.
Can't go wrong.
I like the turkey actually better, but
oh yeah, turkey's pretty.
You mix
solid.
all the meat together, it just makes it even better though.
And you can't go wrong with the beaver nuggets, of course. That's diabetes in a bag, but man,
Yes.
it's so good.
Just don't get the ones with the little,
Yeah.
hot thing on the side of them.
Yeah, that's no bueno. Wes has got the ball on the screen. He's going to take it to the 1st down yardage. Looks to be about the 41-yard line.
Yeah, that's enough for about a 16-yard pickup for the 1st down. I was down in Texas. I stopped at a Buc-ee's, several years ago before they came up here, and I picked up a bag of beaver nuggets. I didn't pay attention to the little jalapeno symbol.
Oh.
And then it just said Calahente on it. And I'm like, oh. And I looked at it when I got in the truck. I'm like, this is it. Oh, that's weird. And I took a bite, and there was some bite to them.
Oh, I bet so. Unexpected heat like that, you just, I don't know.
The only warning on the label was a little bitty thing that said hot in Spanish and a little jalapeno symbol on the corner.
Things you got to pay attention to. There's actually a really cool place, speaking of Buc-ee's, is, me and my wife have to go down to MD Anderson for cancer treatments every 6 months, right? So we drive down to Houston every now and then. There's one outside of Madisonville. There's a Christmas shop that's right kind of kitty corner from it. The biggest Christmas shop, and it's one of the most extravagant ones I've ever seen. Just amazing. So if you're ever in Madisonville or around that area or headed to Houston, check it out.
Is that 50 minutes or 50 seconds?
They are a little off on the scoreboard. 5 minutes and 6 seconds is what it should be. 5:04 is what we show. It's always first game jitters. Twins to the bottom of your screen. Johnson's going to hand the ball off to Elliott. Elliott's going to bruise his way for about 6 or 7 yards.
It's a 2nd and short coming up here. 2 or 3 yards to go, depends on the spot of the ball.
He's like Deuce McAllister,
I call that the bowling ball running back right there. They just kind of get in there and bounce off wherever and fall wherever they fall forward.
Or the bus.
The bus just runs you over.
That's what he did. He just kind of just decided he's going to do whatever he wants to with the ball. He don't care. Bus don't care.
He assumes you're in the way, and
you're not supposed to be.
Yes.
4 wide again. As they're trying to get that ball off. That ball, there should be a flag, and there is. Hawks did not get off in time. That's going to be a free 5 yards and a 1st down for the Crusaders.
And that the offender of that was very not noticeable out there as he ran through the false start on that.
Yeah, he didn't get off fast enough.
He's still out there on the wrong side. But that should be a first down, unless the offense jumped.
Well, it doesn't matter because when the ball snapped, it's a dead ball penalty because the defender didn't get off. So there's 12 men on the field. So that takes precedence over anything else that happened except for if you had like extracurricular activity after the play.
I'd say that's what they're discussing down there. Had a lot of penalty training in this ball game. We're just going to reset and do it again.
Illegal substitution, 12 men on the field. And, those penalties are going to offset because of delay. Now, I don't understand that particular call because by rule,
it should be dead ball, right?
It should be dead ball because of the defense. It doesn't matter if you – it shouldn't matter if you were offsides.
4 receivers again here for Joplin.
But either way, here we are, second down again. Johnson with the ball. He's going to hand it back off to Elliott. Elliott's just decided, I'm the boss again, and I'm going to go ahead and get that first down either way.
And 10-yard pickup, but again, another first down for Elliott.
1st and 10 at the 26-yard line. Ball be spliced. There we go. It's like displaced and placed at the same time. Spliced at the 1 hash.
I feel like the summer weather is teasing us right now. All this rain is making us think we're going to have a nice, cool summer and plenty of rain.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I feel like the weather is not going to cooperate that well.
All right. Johnson's going to throw a nice tall pass. DPI is called as...
There was definitely early contact on that one.
It definitely was.
So that would be a 1st and goal, I believe, if that's in the end zone, right?
Franklin was the intended receiver trying to get a number for the Hawks that kind of pulled him down, but I can't get that number right there, so we're going to pull back. So that is a 15-yard penalty for DPI. So we got offsetting penalties again.
So we'll replay that down once again.
And Mike, my apologies. The DPI is a spot foul in semi-pro rules.
Okay.
So that would have been, but unfortunately, got another offsides penalty, which would have set him up beautifully at the 1-yard line.
And we're going to do the same thing again, it looks like here.
So it looks like final score, 25-8 Warcats over the Cougars. So the Kitty Cat Bowl goes to the Warcats.
And that will go down. That should have been a forward pass, so the clock should stop. It did.
So the Warcats over the Cougars in what could have been a catastrophe. See, I'm pulling out the dad jokes today. I don't care.
It was just a cat fight all day.
It was. It really was. Hair pulled and all. So the Warcats now are going to see themselves higher on the rankings list this week. Johnson's going to hand it off to Elliott again. And Elliott this time is only going to pick up a yard or two. I think the Hawks had enough of that.
And that'll give us about a 1, maybe 2-yard gain, it looks like.
Got a stoppage and play again.
And it's 3rd down. Finally 3rd down.
Timeout, and that's going to be with the Cougars. We're going to stay here with it real quick. We'll find some other scores for you. I'm trying to get that Panthers final score. And find out what the Falcons have done. But I'm just, wow, I'm still flabbergasted with the punishers. Because you hear every year, you have a really bad year to begin with, and then you try to make some improvement, why have you not? But most cases, you'll hear just jabbering, you don't know about us, you don't know about us. Well, no, we don't know about you until you actually prove it on the field. Well, the punishers proved it on the field today.
Exactly. The Punisher is one of the farthest teams from everybody else. Their travel is several hours no matter where they go.
We took a trip just a couple of weeks ago to St. Louis to go watch the Cardinals for the first time ever at home, and then we decided to go back up to my old stomping grounds up in the Quad Cities. Went through Springfield. I was like, man, that is a drive.
Yes.
That is a major drive right there.
It is a good hour and a half, 2 hours from St. Louis.
So third down. Little trickery in the back. West is going to get the ball. He's going to try to make something happen. He squeaks through. He might have this one, and he does. Charles West sliding his way to the end zone.
We're going to have an injury back here near the line of scrimmage, but it appears that is a touchdown.
Charles West.
22 points for Joplin now with 2:17 still to go. I think the weather is making some of that, helping some of that with the jerseys being a little more slippery out there. And
yeah, for sure. You could just put just a little algae on your jersey. They can't grab anything.
Uh-oh. Gotta fix my nice little vest here.
So it looks like we're actually going to get a point after try from the Crusaders. They're all going to get set up. Officials were confused for a moment. Now they're finally getting into place.
Confused about the kick?
Yeah, they're actually kicking. What? This could be good or this could be bad. With it raining, you just never know. We're off to get ready.
I don't believe you can return these, but the kick is
no good.
No good.
2:17 left to go, 22-0. Stick with us. We'll be right back right after these messages.
I can feel the warmth deep down in my bones. I know that I am home. I miss him too. Love brings us here. Together's where we all belong. You're my home. My home.
And we are back, folks. 22-0 is your score with 2:17 left to go before halftime. What's been kind of little back and forth jabs between the two teams.
We've had a couple interceptions back and forth here where prevented some easy touchdowns.
A little squib that's going to go out of bounds. They're going to get the ball at the 40-yard line.
And we had a touchdown brought back also by a penalty. Cost 6 points for Joplin earlier in the game.
Yeah, that one could have been huge had it stood.
That would have made this possibly 30-0 already if that would have stood and got the conversion out of it. Okay, we're going to be at the 50.
So final score, it is official. Punishers 22, Eagles 14.
Wow.
Now, Jordan Deuce kind of replied back and he said, points were put on. Points were definitely put on. He paid attention to the show. Appreciate the views. And I'm glad that they were able to finally get their first win.
And beautiful handoff there to avoid the defense. That's going to be not quite a first.
Sanders on the run. I like this kid. He's got some shifty moves.
This Hawks team, they are really showing a good running game in this ball game, though.
They are.
Biggest challenge of it, you got to get the points on the board, though, when you got them.
100% true. Looks like we got a stoppage in play here. But, yeah, hey, congratulations to the Punishers.
I think we had they're debating on this hit back here at the end of the play, but it didn't look anything too egregious out there. Sometimes, as you know, momentum, sometimes you just can't stop in time.
Mm-hmm. So we definitely got some shakeups going on in the rankings from week 1. It's definitely going to make our job that much more interesting and fun.
And they are sending the house here on this pass.
Trips to the top of your screen. We're going to see a man in motion. He's going to hand this one off to the inside. He's going to bounce at the outside, tries to get something. He squeaks out. He gets the first down yardage and then some. Steps out of bounds. How did he get out of that mess?
I have no clue. He made it somehow to the 31-yard line after all that. But he avoided every defender in the backfield right there.
He was like a greased pig.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody was touching him.
I think he avoided the entire line chasing him down at one point.
If I ever had a team, I think my defense would have to go chase after a greased pig as one of their, as one of their criteria.
We do have a flag on that, though. Down here back by the 50.
I don't see a flag.
Well, he picked one up and put it away. But they do put the ball at the 34, it looks like.
Trips to the bottom of your screen this time. Cross has got a single back.
This is a very good play here.
I got snuffed out real fast. That's going to be a loss of 1. Gets him back to the 35-yard line.
So they had the advantage on the receivers down here this time if they had stuck with that 3 receivers going downfield, because they had a 3-on-2 advantage out of that. That would have forced your safety back there to cut way over from where he's playing at.
Four wide this time. Cross getting everybody ready to go. Cross is going to pass it this time. Ball's up in the air. Looked like it was tipped.
And a little too much on that.
We like to call that too much mustard.
Yes.
So 3rd down and about 11 now. Ball at the 35 again. The Hawks have been doing a good job of driving, but then they'll stall.
Yes.
I think that's for their first game, they're going to have a lot to learn from this one.
That's what happened in the first quarter down here within the 10-yard line. Just stalled out and then had that interception down there.
So 4 wide again. Cross with single back protection again. And talk to his receiver again. That might be giving him a tell.
Yeah, the Punisher is playing it a little safe back here on the receivers.
Cross is trying to find something. Helmet comes off.
And again, there is that slippery jerseys again. Should have had him in the backfield on that.
Picked up a couple on the play. It's going to bring up 4th down. 4th down and long.
So what do you think of the choice of the quick kick punts here?
I mean, they're they're effective enough. I mean, if you don't have an actual real kicker, I mean, that's the best option you got.
That was the Tom Brady special.
Flat balls?
Talking about the kick, not the ball.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, that's the first thing that comes into my mind. So 4th down, and they are definitely going for it with under 30 or under 40 seconds left. 4 wide again. Cross is going to try to find somebody open. He's not going to find it in time, and he's going to get knocked out and sacked. And that's going to be a turnover on downs with 32.3 seconds left to go.
Cross is going to be, looks like, got shaken up a little bit at the end of that play.
Yeah, he's got to watch out. Last year, during the Bears game, he took a broken arm. Ended his season for the year when he was playing with the Generals. Some of the Generals players migrated to this Hawks team as well, as the Generals...
Not too far away.
No, not too far away at all. Marcus London's Generals had dissolved because, he wanted to spend some more time with this kiddo going to Farmington High School. He was going to join us today, but got into some family issues that were pretty heartbreaking that we can't really discuss, but he's okay. But maybe he'll join us for a broadcast sometime soon. So it's going to be 1st and 10 for the Generals at about the 41-yard line in their own territory. Twins to the bottom of your screen. Johnson is going to look for somebody down the field. He's going to be flushed out of the pocket.
And the heave is off.
That ball was almost intercepted. It should have been. It was a quacker, that's for sure. But, with it being so wet out here, it's kind of hard to get a good beat on the ball and a good grip.
Yep. And the reception, no good on that. Bounced off the ground first. We have another injury back here. Is that a Oklahoma player?
It is. And while they tend to him, we'll take a quick break. We'll come right back as soon as they get him off the field. Watching Semipro Saturday on the Southern Sports Network.
With a taste of friends, family, and backyard barbecues, Bentonville Brewing Company. Family owned, family operated, family friendly. Pick up a 6-pack of your favorite IPA, porter, sours, or any one of the delicious flavors Bentonville Brewing has to offer. Or enjoy a cold one on tap at your favorite restaurant. Bentonville Brewing Company. Quality, consistency, assume your natural state. Bentonville Brewing Company, Bentonville, Arkansas.
Welcome back to Fred G. Hughes Stadium with 23.2 seconds left to go. Score still 22-0. Joplin Crusaders up on top. And the Hawks story of the day is, they've had some decent defense. They've had some good drives offensively, but stalled out. Meanwhile, the Crusaders have been able to capitalize and get 22 points on the board, mainly on the wheels. Charles West being one of those. Of course, Johnson himself, too, was able to squeak one in. And it's all about ball control today, as it has been soppy wet.
This is not one of those pretty passing ball games. But both teams keep trying to pass the ball.
Johnson gets the pass off. It is caught. Good shifty move to the outside. It's going to pick him up first down yardage.
Got a 12-yard pickup on the play, maybe 13 for the first.
The ball's going to be placed at the 55 or 56-yard line.
45?
55 if you're Canadian. So 45-yard line. 13.4 seconds left to go. He did get out of bounds.
Still waiting on the Southern Sports Canadian Football League broadcast.
Eh? That's what we'll call it. SSNA. 4 wide. Johnson back again. Johnson's flushed out of the pockets, tries to get something out. Throws an errant pass, is almost caught by a lineman. Is incomplete with 8 seconds flat before we go into halftime.
So time for one more play here, maybe two if you can get something off really quick, but
today's game is also brought to you in part by Grindhard Performance. Grindhard Performance, the official gear supplier for the Southern Sports Network and Semipro Saturday. Check them out. Awesome website. Amazing customer service. We found a gold mine with these guys. Grindhard Performance. Check them out. And we're going to have trips to the bottom of your screen. Johnson again in the back. He's going to try to find something. And he's going to be flushed to the outside. He's calling another player's number. Ball's in the air. That ball is almost intercepted, as that was uglier than my ex-wife. And that is to halftime we go. 22-0 is your score. Stick with us. We'll be right back on the other side of this break.
Semi-Pro Saturday is brought to you in part by 950 Ways Graphics. Professional graphics for players, coaches, and teams. Trust the pros at 950 Ways Graphics and look them up on Facebook at 950 Ways Graphics.
Check. Okay, cool. We're down. Cool. I need something. You want anything to drink? Anything to drink or eat? You're good?
Since 1941, the Dickey's family has been smoking the very best quality meats, low and slow, for 14 hours every day. It's how Mr. Dickey did it, and it's how we still do it in every Dickey's restaurant across America. Lunchtime, dinner time, anytime. Eat in, pick up, or heck, we'll even deliver to you. There is no shortcut to what we do. Come in and see us or visit Dickeys.com. Legit Texas barbecue.
We are a community of athletes that celebrate success and development while having fun and being safe.
We do a pretty rigorous testing to all of our athletes to track progress as we go.
Our athletes are 10% faster, 179% stronger. They jump 4 inches higher on average. They're 8% more agile and 9% quicker.
You can come in, get extremely high quality training, accelerate your athletic abilities.
Head on over to prodaysports.com.
Come try, see if you enjoy it. For $1, it's worth it.
A tradition of educational excellence, more than a century in the making, continues in Broken Arrow. Here, supportive faculty, in-demand undergraduate and graduate degrees, and affordable tuition make Northeastern State University your transfer destination. Finish what you started.
Located in downtown Prairie Grove, Prairie Grove Auto and Farm Supply has been serving the community since 1983. They carry a large selection of inventory to keep your automobiles and farm equipment running smoothly year after year. As a local, family-owned auto parts store, they are thankful to this community for 40 great years and look forward to serving you for 40 more. Go Tigers!
My story isn't that different from a lot of people that grew up in a small town. My dream was always to play baseball, but as a kid, it's hard to prove yourself when you're so far away from the big leagues. When no one else thought I was good enough, our community did. From family to friends, coaches, and local businesses, my community built me into the player that I am today. And I'm just getting started. When you have the support of a community, anything is possible. First Community Bank, where community comes first.
There's no place like home. Whether you live in Oklahoma, Arkansas, or Missouri, Realty Mart USA is your go-to real estate company for residential, commercial, agricultural, or land. We believe in strong connected communities and sponsor local events. Realty Mart USA, supporting our communities, supporting our future.
I can feel the warmth deep down in my bones. I know that I am home. I miss him too. Love brings us here. Together's where we all belong. You're my home. My home.
The roof is the home's main defense against the elements, so services like upkeep, repairs, and upgrades are vital. David's Roofing is the only roofing contractor in Northwest Arkansas that has the prestigious Select Shingle Master rating from Certainty. With David's Roofing, your roof is in good hands.
In 1851, the Cherokee ignited the lamp of learning in the wilderness. For more than a century, this has been a gathering place where minds are developed and lifelong relationships are made, where dreams find direction. The lamp burns brightly still at Northeastern State University.
For the taste of friends, family, and backyard barbecues, Bentonville Brewing Company. Family owned, family operated, family friendly. Pick up a 6-pack of your favorite IPA, porter, sours, or any one of the delicious flavors Bentonville Brewing has to offer. Or enjoy a cold one on tap at your favorite restaurant. Bentonville Brewing Company. Quality, consistency, assume your natural state. Bentonville Brewing Company, Bentonville, Arkansas.
Things could be stranger, but I don't know how. I'm going through changes now. Spend a lifetime trying to figure it out. I'm going through changes, ripping out pages. I'm going through changes now.
Some might say I'm an ideas guy. I'd like to think of myself more as a doer. I like to make things happen, both for myself and for the people my businesses serve. Signature Bank has been crucial in that for me, from starting my moving businesses to expanding into mobile minis, all the way to our current office and warehouse space. Signature has advised and supported me every step of the way.
I can feel the warmth deep down in my bones. I know that I am home. I miss him too. Love brings us here. Together's where we all belong. You're my home. My home.
The College of Education at Northeastern State University prepares educators, mental health providers, and fitness or health professionals with undergraduate and graduate programs. Choose from degrees in elementary, secondary education, special education, health and human performance, psychology, and more. Be ready from day one at Northeastern State University.
Hi, my name is Michaela.
We are computer science pros, chemists and lab technicians, health professionals, mathematicians, and science educators. We are the Greg Wadley College of Science and Health Professions at Northeastern State University. Choose from degrees in natural sciences, health and pre-health professions, mathematics and computer science, and more. Discover the possibilities at Northeastern State University.
Mowing your yard just got easier. TNG Power Equipment has the best Ferris mowers to get the job done, including the all-new 60-inch redesigned deck that mows up to 11 miles per hour in tall or wet conditions. And for smaller lawns, our Ferris 300S starts at just $39.99. And right now, save up to $1,000 on select Ferris models. Commercial grade to last a lifetime. TNG Power Equipment has Ferris mowers to tackle your projects.
With the action and Lady Bulldogs, they won Wichita. Ellenston coming up to bat here.
Buenos nachos, nachos
on first and second.
It's one of the small schools. We got a nice little baseball field.
Score remains the
Woo!
same.
Congratulations.
Last time this happened,
Right
forced
on.
out at third on the fielder's
Well,
choice.
I've got Alan Hilliard with me today because I had a couple of guys bail out on me.
Going over to third. Dixon has to stop it. Dixon out on third once again. That is 2 in a row.
Who's that? 2-0 right now.
Done that.
Oh, okay. No, the Hawks look pretty good.
So with that, we're going to hit the inning there.
So you guys do Kachusa high school?
We'll be back.
No, I do.
Who's on the clock?
Bottom of the half.
Next door, I think.
English Justice Soccer.
Yeah.
Proud support.
Yeah, it looks like they didn't start the clock for halftime.
So I do stuff up in.
Clock room? Is this the clock room? Should be next door.
That's a problem with minor league sports. Everybody's volunteering and don't really care. So.
Well, rain's coming down.
Here's to the moms. To the ones who taught us everything.
There's the basketball.
Defense by the Lady Tigers so far. They trail by 5 currently here.
So.
And 2-point shot from the
Check this
side.
out.
No good. We're going to have
So the Punishers.
foul
Right.
On the rebound.
The Punishers did win, but under protest from the Eagles, they might have to vacate that win.
Why? They play some.
Only 3 officials.
You're supposed to have 4.
Minimum.
Interesting. There's what my B.
Yeah, turn that down.
And 2-point shot from the side. No good. We're going to have a foul
Nice.
on the
Very
rebound.
nice.
This will be That's my very colorful scoreboard.
Hey, that'll work.
Reagan Grosskater.
Wow.
Reagan will pick up her second personal foul. Less than 8 minutes to go. You don't have that.
You may throw one up. I mean, it's not hard.
That's what makes mine look so good now. I got a nice little ticker on there. And then I got my bottom camera too. I added that during some of the games.
Yeah.
That little. Oh, that is good. That is.
All right, so what we got? 5 minutes left. Okay, cool.
What is Burkmar?
All right. Excuse me, moi.
First points of the game coming off the bench.
All right.
Jackson out there, handoff to Grosskater. Riley can't get inside, travel. Nope, we're going to have a timeout. We're going to take a break.
Well, after
back after this.
we get wrapped up and everything, I'll get your cash out. Oh, goodness. Yeah, it's pretty simplistic. I mean, I could go crazier, but
Let's make
I
it.
think we need to.
That's going to make the weather a little more slippery.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That field is definitely going to
We've got to go to St. Joe Wednesday.
Check, check, check. Welcome back, folks, as we are 2 quarters away from wrapping up opening day here on the Southern Sports Network. Been a lot of good games going on throughout the league. Some surprising scores, of course. And even some controversy, as we'll talk about that in this week's show.
But Joplin will start kicking off to the Hawks.
So it's definitely gotten a lot colder and slipperier. Definitely wet out there. 22-0 is your score. Joplin's going to kick this one off. That's going to go out of bounds. Was it touched? I couldn't tell from this angle.
They're going to say it wasn't.
So they'll get the ball at the 40-yard line if that stands true, but it looks like he's sitting at the 7-yard line, which tells me he might have touched that ball.
Yeah, no flag on it, so. Well, no, they're throwing the ball at.
That ball is going to be at the 7-yard line, so should have let that ball go. Would have been at the 40-yard line, but instead the Hawks take it at the 7. 1st and 10 at the 1 hash. Kind of a foolish move. They're going to move that up to looks like to be the 12-yard line.
I was thinking that was further back than where that ball went out of bounds. So Oklahoma start 1st and 10 deep in their own territory. We're missing a vital aspect of the football game on the field down there. Can you spot what we're missing?
Well, let's see. We got officials. We need a football, don't we?
Oh, we got a football. We're missing the big bright orange things on the other side.
Oh, no. That's kind of a big problem right there.
We ain't
Good
got no,
eye.
Our chain people, I think, decided to take the rest of the night off here.
And that is definitely up to the home team to supply.
I think the problem is, if you look in the stands below us down here,
there's hardly anybody left. and nobody qualified to be able to do such things, so you might have to take a couple of players and actually go do that. The beauty of Semipro.
Oh, you got a wireless mic to reach down there?
You know, and some interesting things are coming about here for this next season in the NFL is that they're going to go electronic. So they're removing the chain gang and actually putting in electronic or basically cameras throughout the field to be able to spot where that is going to be.
I heard something about they had a new ball they was trying out at some levels where they had the little, track chip inside up for the field.
Yeah. We got the chain crew coming out now. Yeah. So I'll get a first look of how that's going to operate on the 31st of July because my Lions are playing in Canton, and guess where I'm going to be?
Oh, so they're going to test it out there and see how it works.
We'll be there for the Hall of Fame game between the Lions and the Chargers. And that is going to be exciting. If you've never been to the Hall of Fame, you have to go. That's church right there. Yep. Trips to the top of your screen. Asen Cross is all alone in the backfield. He's got a 5-wide set. And we're back to action here.
And he's going to keep it here for a short gain. About 5. Well, while you're going there, you need to stop in Knightstown, Indiana. Stop there at the Hoosier Gym. One of those places.
The wind is starting to kick back up a little bit, as you can hear. So 2nd down and about 5, 4.5, depending on your angle. 5-wide set again. Cross is going to throw it out to the screen. That ball goes right through his hands, and there's another flag on the play.
I think that is the slippery ball syndrome is what I'd call that. Flags against
2 fouls. Hands to the face.
And a 1st down. Now, on your journey to Indiana, did you happen to go by the Field of Dreams movie site by chance?
I thought that was in Iowa.
Iowa.
No, that's all the way past Iowa City, if I'm not mistaken.
It is. It's a beautiful drive up there.
We usually take I-44 and go back through Missouri and then hit Illinois and then go up that way. It's a little bit more scenic drive. You don't have just corn and soybeans to look at.
Well,
or soybeans and corn. That's about all you get when you're going down to that 80 to 35 route. Trips to the top of your screen again. 5 wide set. His man in motion is going to hand this one off. Double reverse. Mason Cross is going to give a nice little block to the outside edge. He's going to pick up about 6 to 7 on the play.
Not quite to the first down marker, though, I don't think.
No, he was short about 3 yards. 2nd down and 3.
You are right, though. There's a lot of corn and empty fields going up 35 into Nebraska and Iowa. And
you get your 2 choices, soybeans or corn and soybeans, and lots of fields.
Still doesn't stop Kansas and Oklahoma. Kansas especially. Going down 70 and nothing but prairie.
That is one of the loneliest stretches of road, and it's almost like I-80 in Wyoming. Cross is going to hand this one off, and he's not going to pick up much. Might get a yard on the play.
And that'll bring up a 3rd down and still about 3.
Looks like the Hawks are content with controlling the ball on the ground, which smartly so, because this makes for a really sloppy ball.
I think that first pass he had, he realized maybe we want to get a little ground game going first.
So 3rd down and about 1, actually. So picked up 2 on the play. Going to send in motion. Cross is going to call his own number. He's going to go to the outside. Wide open man, and he goes right off his fingertips.
And that is a dangerous pass because that could have easily been picked off.
I don't know why he jumped. He didn't have to jump for that ball. He just could have stayed on and just watch it come in. Instead, 4th down and 1. I like the design. I like the play call there, and he was wide open. He should have had that ball. And I think that was just operator error.
Yep. I think the jump almost caused a pick right there if the Crusaders would have been a little closer. And then twin receivers here, it looks like.
So 4 wide, single back protection this time. Look out for the draw play. The Crusaders are going to snuff that one out, but he squeaks through. He's got 1st down yardage as he put his head down and gets all the way to the 46-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Hawks.
I can't say that's the safest way to do that, but that was an effective way to get that play done.
You know, it could be ugly all you want, but as long as it's taking care of the ball, then do it.
It's enough to pick up a 1st down on that. 12:27 to go here in the 3rd.
4 wide receiver again, single back protection. Cross in the shotgun. Looking for a man open.
And
Thinks about it. He's going to run himself. He calls his own number. And he should have the 1st down yardage.
I think he's got a first. In the official in front of it, that's a 1st down again. 2 in a row. So the question is, with this Oklahoma team, are they going to continue this drive, or are we going to run into a stall-out problem here?
Well, you know, they've, in the past 4 drives, have stalled out. I say keep doing what you're doing. You could dump off some small passes, but you got to talk to your wide receivers to say, hey, you need to catch that ball first, buddy. Keep your eyes on the ball. Looks like wide receiver might be in a neutral zone.
He was definitely in a neutral zone.
Does not get called, it doesn't appear. Picks up a few yards in the play. They're going to mark him down at the 39-yard line.
So 5-yard pickup again on the play. So those short gains are doing what they're supposed to, and the little short pass like you mentioned.
Hawks definitely need to get some points on the board here. Keep this game respectable-like. As they're going to go back to that 4 wide receiver set again. Single back formation. The blitz is coming. That pass is going to be outside. It looked like it might have hit the ground, but they're not going to call it. He's still got the ball. Squeaks out, and he's got the 1st down, I think.
He is short. They're going to call him
at the 35-yard line. You're right. He's about a half a yard short.
I thought he dove and got that down, but they're going to call him at the knee, evidently. Yeah, again, noticing that there, I don't know if, not quite seeing that if the ball hitting the ground a couple times, but
it was close. Cross is going to call his own number again. He might. I don't know if he's got it.
I don't think he does.
He needs to cross to about the 34-yard line to ensure it, but I think he might be short.
That ball's going to be a foot or two short. They're going to move it backwards.
So line to gain is the 34 1/4 by my judgment here. So 4th down, you got to go for it. I mean, why not?
I would send this right down the middle.
4 wide again, same set formation.
Just a little more compact this time, and that's not going to, well, maybe not.
And that ball is intercepted and taken back by the Crusaders. Camera operator got a little lost on that play. Was supposed to be a flea flicker pass.
That turned into a interception that ends with a good ball possession for the Crusaders.
That ball should not have been passed like that. Of course, it's really slick out there.
I'm trying to figure if that was intended to be a flea flicker the way the defense ran in there and they dumped it backwards.
I mean, it looked like a desperation pass to me. It could have been a design play that didn't work out in their favor. So 1st and 10 for the Crusaders. That wind is starting to kick back up.
Oh yeah, Crusaders heavy on the left side this time, but nowhere to go in the middle. Well, they'll pick up a few out of it in the end.
4 yards on the play, and it's starting to get a little chippy.
And the officials doing a good job of taking control out there, getting the coaches to warn them, I'm assuming.
So no flags on the play, just a little separation there. So it'll be 2nd down. They picked up about 3 or 4 on the play. Not a bad run, but, these run plays are going to kill the clock. So if you're the Crusaders, that's exactly what you want to see. Just keep matriculating the ball on the ground and kill the clock.
And especially a 22-point lead here. I mean, you don't have to score this half if you can control that clock the rest of the game.
That's exactly it. It's all ball control.
You can run this down. You could almost run. I've seen 9-10 minutes run off the clock in games before. So,
well, the clock has stopped. There's a officials conference going on with the head coach over at the Hawks team. Trying to figure out what's going on, why that call was made, or no call.
Oh, they're moving the ball. They're going to call a penalty or something here.
So that's going against the Hawks there, and they probably called that for personal foul then. They just didn't throw the flag, it looks like.
Yep. I'd say that was why the conversation was happening with the coach.
Which I like to see something. I like to see the action thereof of actual throwing the penalty so that you know. But here we go. Johnson with a 4 wide set is going to pitch it off. There is a flag on the play.
This will be coming back probably.
Yeah, usually the back judge is in charge of holding, which it looks like that's the call.
Usually when you get that much time to get the hand off in the back.
We're definitely getting a lot of wind up here.
Yes, the wind noise up here is pretty well.
And we're waiting for the call to come in.
But it has gotten a lot more rainy this half than it did the first half.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Looks like 4 receivers again for the Crusaders.
Johnson's going to roll out to the bottom of your screen on a quarterback design run. He's going to pick up big yards, first down yardage. Keeps going. He's going to get down to about the 11-yard line is where they should mark him out.
That's going to be just...
Yep.
Yep, that's enough for a first and just short of goal, which is also a good spot.
So they have an opportunity to pick up one more first down at the 1-yard line. Or you just go for the jugular and just get the touchdown. I mean, either way.
I mean, if I've got a commanding lead here, I would probably try to run this, get a couple plays out of it, and get that extra down and maybe try to get 4 more downs out of it.
Well, he's down at the 10-yard line, so pick up of 1 on the play. This game is brought to you in part by Grind Hard Performance. Grind Hard Performance, the official gear outlet for the Southern Sports Network, here on Semipro Saturday at the Fred G. Hughes Stadium here in Joplin, Missouri. Crusaders up 22-0, trying to extend the lead as their home opener for the 2025 season. Brand new quarterback Ryan Johnson. And Johnson's going to be out, and it looks like we got a flag on the play. Johnson's looking, ball comes out, and it looks like it's recovered by the Hawks.
We have 2 flags. We got one from the judge on the opposing side, but we got one from the back judge, so we'll see.
Holding is called against the Crusaders, and that ball is turned over back to the Hawks.
It's a big opportunity for the Hawks here. This is really the best chance that they needed right now to try to get a score, but they got to score quick.
Yeah, Johnson held on to that ball too long, almost like bread outside, and just lost it. You got to secure that ball, especially in rainy weather like this. So lots to learn on both teams today, as I'm pretty sure that they'll be watching the film and getting ready for next week.
And sometimes it's better to just, go down and take the loss of yards, especially when you got a lead and you've got the ball.
So next week, the Crusaders are going to be on the road against the Skyhawks, who lost against the Bears today. And then week 3 will be back home against the St. Joe Bucks. So the Hawks now are going to pitch to the outside, not going to get much. As a matter of fact, they're going to lose about 3 on the play.
The Bucks, another one of those the teams this year to the league that, can start to surprise some people possibly later this season.
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, they were down 18-0 in the second quarter and came back 21-25 to lose the game, but had an opportunity to win, but just ran out of time. So the Crusaders here at home, of course, this week, on the road against Wichita next week, back home against the Bucks in week 3. They'll be going on the road in Broken Arrow against the Gators. We'll have a bye week on week 5, and then home against the Gators again. And the Hawks almost got that one completed, went right through the hands again. Week 7 will be at the Warhawks, or the War Cats, down in northwest Arkansas. Then another one against the Cougars on the road in Alton, or Alton if you want to say that. And then home against the Gators. So they're playing the Gators 3 times this year. Back to back to back to back.
That's a lot of Gators in there. And again, 4 wide receiver set here coming up for Oklahoma. Pressure by the defense, though. It may have been going before the snap.
That play was dead before it even began. They had an all-out blitz.
Yeah, I mean, they weren't hiding that blitz. They were just like a bunch of dogs waiting to go.
It was Pitbull City, and now we've got a 4th down and long. So they're going to have to punt this one away.
I'm going to hope that person deep in the back is a punter. Because if this punt gets blocked, that is not going to go well. It gets away at least.
Takes a nice roll, and that ball is coming right back out. Is able to get back in its hands. Trying to find something going on here. It's Pinball City. The ball should be placed at the 38-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Crusaders as they are back in a Hawks territory. And we'll have their second opportunity in the second half.
And 5:52 left in this third quarter here. Still 22-0 here.
So the big story today, Stuart Sanders finally getting picked up and is going to the Browns.
The Browns. Sounds like it's going to be a fun trip for him.
Yeah, so the Browns already took a quarterback earlier in and so they get 2 quarterbacks for the price of 1 in 1 year. So
the Browns seem to have a slight curse going with them, though, for younger players at times. So,
yeah, I think a lot of the problems with the Browns are the Browns. Browns doing Browns things. 4 wide receivers. Johnson's gonna play action this one. Ball comes right out again. This time it's picked back up by the Crusaders. A loss of 4 on the play. Johnson's going to have to hold on to the ball a little bit better because that could be disastrous again.
The Browns the Browns are kind of like the Lions. Whatever, they could be great during the regular season. Come the playoffs, something happens and they somehow find a way to not win.
Well, for the Lions last year, we got depleted in injuries, especially on defense. I mean, it was ridiculous.
Oh, they were down to practice players and everything else come playoff time.
Greg, I mean, I'll tell you what, our coaching staff and our general manager did an outstanding job at circumventing some of the injuries last year, and that was tough. So they get them back to the original line of scrimmage, plus maybe a half a yard.
Yep.
So 3rd down and long.
Yes, Lions, one of the more improved teams in the NFL, though, coming out over the last several years, but something about the playoffs. And 3 receivers this time on the left side for the Crusaders here.
Nice inside run. That's going to pick up 1st down yardage and more. He might be able to squeak this one in. He doesn't. He's still up on going. He was not touched, but he is down in the red zone.
And that's a 1st and goal for Joplin here from the 6, it looks like.
If he didn't lose his footing, West would have had that one in for again.
Oh, yeah.
Trips to the bottom of your screen this time.
And the hurry-up offense for Joplin. Again, the handoff is this. That's a touchdown.
Touchdown, Crusaders! Ball control right there was key. And that is Tajon Curry, actually, not West on the play. So Tajon Curry in for another 6.
And that'll put us in the running clock territory here in the final quarter if it sets them up to have a clean ending to this ball game if they can work that well.
So we're going to leave the kicker on the sidelines as they didn't do so hot last time. Johnson stays on the field. Twins to the bottom of your screen. It's going to be under center. Elliott Hawkins again, the big bruiser for an extra 2.
Hawkins, he is just having a great ball game today here.
So with 4 minutes left to go into third, your score 30-0. We'll be right back right after these messages. You're watching Semipro Saturday on the Southern Sports Network.
I can feel the warmth deep down in my bones, I know that I am home. I miss him too. Love brings us here. Together's where we all belong. You're my home. My home.
Welcome back. 4 minutes left to go. The Crusaders just scored and a 2-point conversion. Curry runs it in for the touchdown. Elliott Hawkins goes back in with a bruising 2-point conversion. Your score is 30-0. Now that the Crusaders are starting to pull away in what's been a cold, sloppy game. Had an interception and a fumble, or as Andy Reid likes to call it, fumble-rooski.
Good return on there by the Hawks, able to make it out to midfield. As you can see, the wetness of that field slid straight on and through the sideline players and almost out to the track.
It's like being on a big slip and slide, you know? Back in the day, those were the rage. We had, there was a couple of knockoffs. We had one of those called the wet banana, and it was just basically a plastic banana that you attach to the garden hose. Same concept and everything, but it's still fun. You put in a little bit of Dawn dish soap on it, oh man, you slide for miles.
I remember some of them, the thickness of them, if you had a rock or two in the yard that you missed.
Oh yeah, you're getting scraped.
They didn't feel good.
Definitely find yourself with a secondary hole. That's no fun. So the Hawks come back trying to make something out of this. They've had some opportunities in this game and looked really good, but just weren't able to get it going. So trips to the bottom of your screen. Cross is going to try to find somebody, but nobody.
He might have picked up a yard out of the running out of bounds on that. So enough for a 1 yard gain on the play. And 3:46, and I guess they're going to stop the clock on that.
Fans definitely get into this game for sure, as they're up by closest to us, as there's a little bit of an overhang from this wetness. Seeking shelter. 4 wide. Cross has nobody behind him, but he's got an open receiver. And again, he jumps when he shouldn't have. Loses handle of the ball again.
I think if he just turns and gets that ball, it's going to fall right into his hands. So third down from the 49. They need to make it to the 42 on the opposite side for the first down.
So 4 wide set again. Empty backfield.
And here's that not so obvious blitz right there.
And we got a stoppage in play. So somebody moved. Looks like it's going to be indicated against the Crusaders. And that's a free 5 yards for the Hawks.
I could probably say there's 2 or 3 players that could be called on that one.
We'll just say by committee.
That will set up a much easier third down for Oklahoma here.
So no protection in the backfield. Cross is definitely going to be on his own. He's got the wheels for it, but he's going to be stopped short and he's going to be sacked.
He did a very good job of avoiding the sack in the back, at least on that.
Unfortunately, his receivers are not getting open, and whenever they are, they're dropping the ball. So they're definitely not helping out their quarterback.
Well, in theory, when they're blitzing like that, you should have an open receiver, especially if there's 5 of them going down there somewhere. At least the math would say that.
Yeah, arithmetic does say that, but we're also arithmetic, if I could say it. 4th down. Ball at the 48-yard line. Line to gain is at the 42.
And at least 4 receivers here. There are 4.
Ball's in the air. It's finally caught.
Oh, this might be a big play.
This is a huge play for the Hawks. Ball's down at the 35-yard line. 34, correction. So 1st and 10 for the Hawks.
Looks like the 24 is where 24-yard line
24.
on this side.
Yeah, it's getting late in the day. I'm losing my concept of numbers here on the field. We're under 2 minutes in the third.
So this is a must-score situation here. If you don't score on this, 30 points in the fourth quarter is going to be a big handful to get.
It certainly is.
Oh, ball.
Almost had that, too. If he was in the right position, that could have been 6 points.
I think it bounced off one of the players back there and then bounced back somehow. And just about worked.
Almost.
We're having we had a discussion with the White Hat about something here. We're going to have a timeout, I believe. We do have a timeout. Oklahoma timeout. So we will take a break.
Well, actually, we're going to keep it rolling here real quick because there's some interesting stuff going on in the chat rooms in the Midwest page right now. As Kendall Holmes is the one wanting to jump in and say, well, the Cyclones lost and won't release me. Gators barely won. Jimmy, get me the release. So apparently Kendall wants to go to the Gators. You got to love the semi-pro drama. The beauty of semi-pro. Only at this level will you get stuff like that. It's all for fun and games.
Yeah. Now, is today the roster lockup?
Yesterday was the roster lockup,
okay.
so it was set. So I don't think that's going to happen. So Holmes, who was the back-to-back MVP for this Crusaders team, had left and signed on with the Cyclones, but work-related issues and location would not allow him to stay with the Cyclones, as that was a busted play. There was no blocking, and a blitz came in, and that was a huge loss for this Hawks team, who had some great momentum going on this drive. Now it's going to be 3rd down and long.
That blitz defense is really working in the second half right now for the Crusaders. And I don't believe they're trying to hide that blitz anymore out there at this point.
No, it's Captain Obvious right now. So there's no question to it.
The thing with doing that is that should free up some receivers out here somewhere.
Yeah, academically I would say so, and they're bringing that blitz again. They're just timing it.
So
that ball's on the ground, and we might have a turnover. Depends on who's got the ball.
It is.
Looks like it was recovered by the Hawks. So 4th down and long.
And the clock should be running, right?
It should be. Idealistically.
Yes. We should be ending the quarter here. But
the official's telling them to run the clock, so they thought that there was a turnover. 23 seconds left to go in the third.
And this is not a punting situation here. This is a go for it, and they have to make it all the way to the 15 from just inside the 40. And there's the blitz again. Passes off. Oh, that is
intercepted. At the end of the quarter, your score is 30-0, and the Crusaders just picked off Ace and Cross and the Hawks. So when we get to the fourth quarter, we'll have a change in possession right after these messages.
Nestled in the heart of Baxter Springs, Missouri, the Little Brick Inn stands as a testament to local charm and genuine hospitality. As a locally owned establishment, we take pride in offering a unique and cozy retreat for our guests. To reserve your room, visit littlebrickinn.com.
My story isn't that different from a lot of people that grew up in a small town. My dream was always to play baseball, but as a kid, it's hard to prove yourself when you're so far away from the big leagues. When no one else thought I was good enough, our community did. From family to friends, coaches, and local businesses, my community built me into the player that I am today. And I'm just getting started. When you have the support of a community, anything is possible. First Community Bank, where community comes.
Welcome back, folks, as we are in the fourth quarter. The final stanza in what's been all Crusaders. The Hawks have had their opportunities, but have either squandered them or stalled. This past drive squandered in the end zone as the Crusaders picked them off again, but have been heavily blitzing Cross all day long. It's caused him a lot of problems.
And I think that is what has gave us this score here to make this 30-0. Just about off sides over there, the receiver.
Twins to the bottom of your screen. Johnson's calling for a man in motion. He's going to hand this one off.
Looks like the reverse on the backside.
But a nice hit. And we got an injured player on the field. It looks like he might be getting up on his own steam. But, man, great collision behind the line.
That might have saved a touchdown, though.
I'm glad to see that there's still some fight with these Hawks. They're not giving up. So a loss of 2 on the play. Second down and 12. It seemed like that reverse kind of went too far to the outside and not enough speed on it. Hawkins with the inside run. Not going to get much. Matter of fact, he might be maybe a yard.
So that will make this a 3rd and about 11. So this is a must-have play right here if you want to keep this drive going.
The rain's starting to come down now. It's going to make for a cold drive home tonight.
It is. I'll be okay, though. I'm all nice and heated right now.
You didn't bring the motorcycle down, did you?
No.
Okay, that's a smart move.
That would have been fun.
A little delayed pitch on the inside to the outside now. It's going to pick up a few yards. Oh, he's going to get tattooed at the 25-yard line. It's going to bring up 4th down and about 5.
So this play here, the big decision. Do you punt this or do you go for it? I don't know.
I punt it away. I mean, you're up by 30 points.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking if you go for it, you're not, you give up 1 score, you're still up, 3 touchdowns. Now, if you do that 2 or 3 times, it causes a problem, but
that's true. I mean, but I would punt it just on the sheer fact your defense is doing great. You're up by 30 points, but that's not what they're going to do. No. Johnson's going to hand the ball off to Elliot Hawkins, or he's going to call his own number like he just did right here. He's going to pick up the 1st down, just like he did right there to get down to the 38. See how I did that nonchalantly?
Reversed into the opposite of what you said. But I think that was a good decision, though. It keeps the momentum going on the Crusaders' side.
More importantly, it keeps the clock rolling.
Yes.
And that's what we want to see.
12 minutes left on the game clock.
Now it hands off to Elliot Hawkins. Hawkins is going to get a huge hole. Big run, and is going to get down to the 47-yard line, 1st and 10.
That's a 15-yard pickup for him again in this. I mean, he is just probably 70 yards in this ball game right now, at least.
Oh, yeah. He's bulldozing him over.
And that might have been his longest run right there. The rest of the runs were just bulldozing 5-10 yards at a time.
Yeah, the containment was to the outside, and there was a huge hole. You could have drove a Mack truck through that one.
And this is clearly going to be a run right here. I don't see a pass out of this.
2-back set. Of course, another run, and he's going to get first down yardage and more. Keeps squeaking through. He's got down to the 35, maybe 34-yard line.
And a 20-yard pickup, but
35.
Might have avoided a penalty right there at the end.
Yeah.
I seen a pretty good little shove at the end of that, but 10:46 to go. Ball inside the 25, it looks like, on the 25.
Another run by Hawkins again. He's just throwing people around. He's manhandling it now.
I believe it took 4 or 5 Hawks to bring him down right there.
He's just running with steam that I don't think this Hawks defense can stop. So we're under 10 minutes now. Up by 30.
2nd and 4 for the Crusaders.
If I'm a betting man, this is running on the inside. Good thing I'm not a bet man because it was on the outside. This is opposite day, and they go for a loss as they're going opposite now in the direction they needed to go.
I would have probably gone to the inside myself on that one.
So we got a little bit of chippiness going on here late in the game.
And we got a Hawk that appears to be a little shaken up after that.
Well, they definitely clipped his wings. We're going to take a quick timeout. 9:18 left to go. 30-0 is your score. We'll be right back right after this.
With the taste of friends, family, and backyard barbecues, Bentonville Brewing Company. Family owned, family operated, family friendly. Pick up a 6-pack of your favorite IPA, porter, sours, or any one of the delicious flavors Bentonville Brewing has to offer. Or enjoy a cold one on tap at your favorite restaurant. Bentonville Brewing Company. Quality, consistency, assume your natural state. Bentonville Brewing Company, Bentonville, Arkansas.
Well, welcome back, folks, as Injured Hawk is headed off.
There's 9:19 left here in this ball game. 30 points for the Crusaders on the board.
Yeah, we definitely called this one on the predictions list.
There's some predictions that didn't quite come out, though.
Man, I took some big losses this week. Two big ones. Unexpected losses. That's okay. You can't win them all, but I'm pleasantly surprised by the losses that I've had. So these aren't big losses to me, but they're more of finally, these teams that were down are starting to really come into their own, and I love seeing that.
I think it's a sign that the league is starting to, some of these teams even up a little bit, get closer to that same level.
Johnson hands it off to Hawkins again. Hawkins going to get that first down yardage and more. He might go all the way, and he does! Touchdown, Crusaders.
And Hawkins, he found the hole, and, no one was taking him down in that run.
Nobody.
I think he took 2 people with him to that touchdown.
You're going to have to do one of those Karate Kid sweep the leg kind of things to bring him down, because you try to tackle him high, he's going to take you in the end zone with him. So we have approached that 35-yard or 35-point deal, so we might have a running clock here at any moment now. So 2-point try now. And why not?
And 2 receivers over to the left. They're going to get it off to the left.
No good, as it was tipped out of the hands at the last second. But your score, 36-0. 8:52 left to go. We'll be right back. You're watching Semi-Pro on the Southern Sports Network.
Semi-Pro Saturday is brought to you in part by 950 Ways Graphics, professional graphics for players, coaches, and teams. Trust the pros at 950 Ways Graphics and look them up on Facebook at 950 Ways Graphics.
Welcome back, folks. 8:52 left to go. Hawkins just decided that he wanted that touchdown after all and just drove it, took it upon himself, a man among boys.
And
2-point conversion was no good, and the Hawks take over at the 40.
And the clock should be rolling in theory.
Not right now. At the snap. But then will it after that? I don't know. You know, that's a good question.
It should be rolling faster than 44 through the turnpike in Oklahoma.
But here's the thing. I talked to the head official at halftime, and he hadn't gotten a hold of the semi-pro football rulebook yet. So he's under the assumption that we're playing NFL rules, which means that there is no mercy clock. So to answer your question, it's probably not going to roll. Things that have to be taken care of now. Here we go. Hawks now with an opportunity to at least put some points on the board. Make it respectable like, because 36-0, it's not really respectable like.
And this defense again, the pressure. I mean, they're lining up for a sprint right there.
Cross dumps it off. He's trying to find something to the outside edge. Picks up a few yards. But he had to run 30 to get 4.
That was a very nice pickup, though, for the circumstances. Just ran half the backfield to get there.
It's actually a 5-yard run, officially. Got to give a shout out to our brand new producer. Andrew Myers has done a fantastic job today. His first day on the job, and has done wonderful. Hasn't walked out on us. That's always a good plus, right? And he's making sure that everything's going copacetic. So hats off to Andrew for his first day.
Hey, I love your training program.
Well, I'm kind of loose on that, you know. I have a level of expectation, but I like to kind of have a little bit of ebbs and flows because everybody brings in something new to the table. You can't really just be restrictive on it. So that was going to be a first down, it looks like, after that. A little scat, so 1st and 10 at the 50-yard line. Clock is going to run. 4 wide out again.
And he's got a couple receivers here, options if he gets it off. We got a flag. But he's going to run this, but this might be brought back. Say holding in the backfield. Here's where the flag was thrown at least.
Telltale sign that you got holding, but let's see what the official call is. Clock continues to run. Clock operator's a little confused. That's okay, though. I'm good with this. None of the officials seem to be paying attention to the clock, too. I don't know if that's convenient or not.
Yep. Well, my trip after this down 44 is a lot slower than your trip is going to be. So one thing about going from Oklahoma to Missouri, your speed limit drops quickly.
It sure does. Holding against the Hawks, and that's going to back them up. You know, I think we need to make another advertisement partnership with like U-Haul or somebody like that, you know, to where back them up. You know? Get backed up with U-Haul or Pods or somebody like that.
Yeah.
You know? We got to work this angle. So after the penalty, it's going to bring them all the way back to the 40. They have 20 yards to gain because they got to get to the other 40-yard line to make the first down.
That's a handoff sweep on the right. Nowhere to go, though.
Loss of 5. So now we're down to 25 yards to be able to get that first down.
I don't think there was any chance of that play going anywhere the way it looked there.
Oh, it went somewhere. It went backwards. So officially a 3-yard loss. Ball is at the 37-yard line. Second down. So 23 yards to go for the first down. Hawks have definitely dug themselves in a pretty big hole here.
And they're going to take this by foot.
Slide down.
Quarterback will.
So Cross is going to slide down to the 45,
there.
and that's going to bring up third down at about 15.
So 5 minutes to go here. The Crusaders will ultimately pick up the victory out of this.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. I mean, academically, this game is already over with. It's just a matter of counting it down.
This will hold their spot in the rankings here at least. Or at least it should hold their spot.
Oh, yeah. And nothing doing on that play, so it's going to bring up fourth down.
And fourth and about 15, so same
old situation.
Yep. You got the Crusaders, some of them prematurely celebrating down there. I think the thing that's won this game is the Crusaders' defense here in the second half.
It certainly has. Offensively, they've got some work to get done, especially at quarterback play, securing that ball, making sure to make smart choices and really not turning over that ball. And, ooh, that one could have gotten picked off, but, boy, what a collision there. Glad nobody was hurt on the play, and that'll be a changeover in possession.
And that was a really good attempt by the receiver to go for that ball, though.
It certainly was.
But one thing, this Oklahoma team, they have done a very good job down, running the ball.
Yeah, they sure have. And that's one thing to take away for those guys is really, being a first-year team in 11-man is tough to begin with. You're going up against the league champions. That's even tougher for week one. But you've been able to keep it somewhat respectable. Honestly, I think if it wasn't for the rain, they probably would have put up some points on the board.
Oh, exactly.
When you have to go one-dimensionally because your receivers are missing the ball because of the rain, that's going to make a huge factor. They've got to go back to the drawing board this week and practice and really work on that.
Well, their throws have been really on target for the distance and everything so far in this ball game. It's just like you said, the wet weather and the rain makes it really hard to catch them.
Hey, I think the world of Asen Cross. I think he's a good quarterback. I just think, he's got a circumstance now. He's got a first-year team, and they're going to have to figure out what they need to do to gel. They're going to play some games, and they might win a game or two here and there and really build upon that for next year.
And really, especially even in football, sometimes it takes one win to get kind of the balls rolling and get people – realizing they can win some of these games.
Absolutely. So I don't know what the holdup is. Waiting for the defense to come out. So offense is set.
They're doing headstands out there to keep themselves all nice and warm.
I mean, whatever it takes, right?
My favorite watching back to that in a minute here, but off in the play. That is handed off again down the middle. 2-yard pickup on that.
Join us next week on the Southern Sports Network for our continuing coverage. We were hoping to get that on tonight, but everything circumstantial did not allow that to happen. But for the first broadcast of the Gridiron Blitz, be able to see multiple games going on at the same time, only on the Southern Sports Network.
I know where a game is going to be next week.
I bet you do. I bet you do. You know, this game right here is still going on, and looks like we got first down yardage.
The Crusaders are not taking a knee right here. They are still, you know, pushing the gas and keeping the ball moving right now.
Oh, no, they never take the foot off the pedal. So next week's game, Allen Hilliard Network, where are you going to be at next week?
We'll be up in Columbia. It'd be the Vipers. I believe they're playing the Panthers next week.
Oh, that's going to be a good one. Panthers with an impressive win against the Cyclones, who was in the championship game last year. Panthers come in much improved this year, and we're really impressed by those guys.
Well, they're coming off with a Week 1 win, a preseason victory over St. Joe.
The Bucks, yeah. And then the Week 1 against the Cyclones, so definitely looking forward to that. Cyclones surprisingly, lose to the Panthers. Got to find out what's going on in there. I know they had some quarterback issues before, but, who knows? I mean, this is semi-pro. Anything can happen.
It certainly can there.
So we're at the 2-minute warning. 36-0 is your score. We're going to take a quick break. The last one of the game, and we'll be right back right after this.
Semi-Pro Saturday is brought to you in part by 950 Ways Graphics. Professional graphics for players, coaches, and teams. Trust the pros at 950 Ways Graphics and look them up on Facebook at 950 Ways Graphics.
Welcome back, folks, as we are ready to go for the final stanza of this game. And what's been total dominance with the Crusaders today. A little bit of sloppy play, but that's what you come to expect whenever it's rainy like this. And it's going to be sloppy to begin with.
Rainy in Week 1.
Which is a lot better than what it could have been. Could have been thunderstorms. Could have had a stoppage in play. We've had those before. Had about an hour stoppage last year.
We may or may not have had some thunderstorms the last few weeks around here.
So 4 wide. Johnson in the back has got West that he hands the ball off to. West is going to throw the ball up and over and easy in. Touchdown, Crusaders. Getting a little flash to none other than Tajon Curry. Little dance moves.
I don't know if the dance move got the extra points or not, but
you'll see this on replay again, is that it was just easy money, blown coverage. Nobody was around.
So 42-0 now for the Crusaders. And they're probably, are we going to kick the ball here?
Leave the kicker at home. Leave the kicker at home.
I don't see a kicker out there. Nope.
We're going to be going for 2, and if it were me, well, Elliot Hawkins is not out there, so we can forget about that idea.
Right down the middle.
So Johnson's going to call somebody's number on the outside, and guess who?
Little corner pass is good, and 2-point conversion, 44-0.
So Franklin on the catch, and 2 points is good. 44-0 is your score with 1:58 left to go, or 1:50. So that took all of 10 seconds. So go figure. Go figure. So here we go. It went from trying to make it respectable, like at 30-0. Now it's 44-0. Respect has left the door.
Yes.
It has definitely left the room.
So one last chance for the Hawks here to get something on points-wise on the board.
So join us here in 2 weeks. We'll be in Tulsa, Oklahoma, as the Crusaders will be visiting the Gators for the first time, one of 3 visits. We'll be at Nine Heist Park in Broken Arrow. That should be interesting.
I won't be there.
Longer kick this time. Yeah, he won't be there for sure. And that ball is going to go out, and he's going to try to make something, but he's going to get wrapped up at the 25-yard line, 1st and 10 for the Hawks. As there was nowhere to run to and nowhere to hide.
I will be in St. Louis in 2 weeks from now.
Falcons game.
At Rockwood Summit High School, home of the Falcons.
Well, that'll be a fun game to watch.
So fun tip, if you're a semi-pro team, get a stadium with your team's name in it.
You can't go wrong.
And like I said, if you want to start a team in Southwest Missouri, just call yourself the Tigers.
Yeah, plenty of Tigers there.
I make the joke with my high school sports because a third of the teams in the conference are Tigers, so we go like 2 weeks and every team you play is Tigers.
So, yeah, it get confusing.
So when people ask who you're playing, you just keep saying the Tigers for the rest of the week.
So the ball is actually placed at the 40-yard line. Don't know what happened there.
Some of those non-thrown penalties, I guess, that...
It's unflag friendly.
Unflag friendly.
I don't know if that's a thing or what. 4 wide, crosses back by himself because he's trying to step up in the pocket, throws, and actually connects one. 1st down yardage and more. He's going to keep going. He might actually get points on the board, and he's going to. The Hawks finally see light at the end of the tunnel and get 6. Pass was intended and caught by Quan Sanders. Storms in and was not going to be denied.
So the last 15, 20 seconds we've had so far 14 points on the board.
How about that, right? I mean, why did we wait for so long? I don't know.
And a minute 28 still remains.
Well, I have a feeling that that we're going to see a little bit more play out of the Crusaders, especially after this. Cross is going to go back. He's looking for somebody open, but having a squirrel out of the pocket there. Finds a wide open shot, and he got it. 2 points.
So 44-8. Joplin on top here. Hawks will get some points on the board at the end of this ball game.
Now that right there is respect.
And 1:19 to go in the final quarter.
Anytime you can get some points on the board and just avoid the goose egg, nobody wants to have a goose egg. So it's 1:15 left to go. So, all right, real quick question for you, Alan. So what's your favorite spot along I-44? So between St. Louis and Wichita Falls, Texas. Favorite place to eat at right off 44?
Never been to Wichita Falls. I usually stop at Oklahoma City. Well,
that's actually the route from total I-44 is actually Burke Burnett, Texas, all the way to St. Louis.
I did not know that, actually.
Oh, yeah, I've been up and down. Every mile of I-44 I've been down.
Well, my favorite breakfast spot is in Stratford at McDonald's, just because it's convenient.
Okay.
And then there's Buc-ee's.
Oh, Buc-ee's is definitely a favorite.
Mainly because our conference, where the school I do coverage for, is all schools in Southwest Missouri, so every trip is down I-44. So every trip requires a double Buc-ee stop on the way down and on the way back.
A double Buc-ee's, man.
That's like $20 a trip.
Easy.
They even have a Buc-ee's football jersey.
Oh, no kidding. Solid barbecue.
Their barbecue is amazing for what it is.
For gas station barbecue, it's not bad. Almost had the tip go in the favor of the Hawks. Crusaders are picking it up, and they're going with it. They got a yardage right here on the way down to the 30, I'm going to say 38-yard line, maybe 37. 37, so 1st and 10 Crusaders. With the Buck goes 7. They're not going to let up on the gas pedal, I guarantee you.
No, they were trying to score on that return right there. The best barbecue joints are the ones with a pig on them with a chef's hat, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
If you see a barbecue place that looks like it's been abandoned for 20 years and it's got a pig on the sign with a barbecue hat with an old wooden sign.
Oh, yeah. That
is where the barbecue is.
That's the cue, baby.
Not a new fancy restaurant.
No. Those are millennial barbecue stands. You don't want to go to a millennial barbecue stand. You want to go something authentic.
Where your food is served in a generic styrofoam package with...
Yeah. If the guy doesn't have at least one felony, it's not good.
Yeah. And half the time, they'll let you look at the smoker back there at the barbecue if you ask them.
Absolutely. Big old propane tank that's been retrofitted to be a pit smoker.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
and they got the big old rusty smoker around it. And flag on the play.
Pass is no good. But we do have laundry.
1 minute on the clock here. But favorite Oklahoma stop? Actually the rest area.
Really?
Well, yeah.
That's random.
You don't stop at the rest area, the McDonald's above the interstate?
Oh, that's what you're talking about. Yeah. That used to be the biggest McDonald's in the world at one time.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I knew it used to be a real nice restaurant originally when it was built.
Yeah.
It was Howard Johnson's, I think, or something like that.
Hojo's. All right, so that's going against the Crusaders. That's going to back them up back in their own territory at about the 52-yard line if you're Canadian, 48 if you're American.
I just love how Oklahoma actually has rest areas right on the interstate, so you never have to get off. It just makes things so much easier traveling.
Well, you kind of have to do that because they're all toll roads. That's called Oklahoma extortion right there. So 4 wide. Johnson's going to hand the ball off. Actually, it's not Johnson. That's going to be the other Johnson, DeJuan Johnson.
And he'll make it out past the 50 to about the 48 on the opposite side.
So we got Johnson and Johnson, but we also have an injured Crusader on the field with 48.3 seconds left to go. So, yeah, those that one time in Veneta, that used to be the biggest McDonald's. Now it's kind of split. You've got a gas station on the bottom, and then you've got a Subway, and then now a McDonald's up on top with a little...
Yeah, it's a little cubicle McDonald's.
Yeah, cubicle McDonald's, and you got a little gift shop.
Yeah. The Cherokee truck stop for breakfast, though, that's the go-to right there.
Never been there.
Yep, that Cherokee truck stop, it is amazing, the breakfast.
I'm going to have to check that out. Yeah, there's a few places around here that are pretty cool off of I-44 for sure. You know, one of my favorite spots actually has got to be Uranus Fudge.
Oh, yes. I live just literally around the corner, just over the hill from there, literally.
Oh, yeah. That place is pretty cool. The little roadside attractions, because 44 kind of mimics, Route 66.
Yeah.
So you kind of get that, that mentality, that culture, if you will, of some of those roadsides. I mean, we've got the Blue Whale in Catoosa. I mean, the world's largest totem pole in Foyle, kind of off of 44 as well. So A lot of those novelties. So they're running the clock. It looks like they're just going to let this one go. They might have to get one more play off.
Coach forgot his helmet out there.
So this is victory formation.
And that will be it.
And your final score is going to be 44-8 here at Fred G. Hughes Stadium. The Crusaders 1-0 on the season. The Hawks got to go back to the drawing board and figure this one out. Tell me your overall assessment of the game, Alan.
I think both teams played a really strong game here. Just the defense is what really kept the Crusaders, really the shutout, almost the shutout here for them.
Right.
But a couple more circumstances, a couple less turnovers, and if the Hawks didn't stall out, I mean, they had good runs.
They sure did.
But that's the only negative from the Hawks. They played really good offense down there running the ball.
I'd have to agree with you. I mean, they do need to work with the wide receivers and making sure they secure the catch. The offensive line did a decent job, but they were getting blitzed all game long. So it's up to the quarterback to make those adjustments. And I think that's one thing. Asen Cross is young, so him and his receivers are going to have to get used to making some hot routes and making some hot calls. So whenever they do get those blitz situations, just to dump off. So those are things to consider. Well, hey, for all of us here on the Southern Sports Network, Andrew Myers, Alan, the legend, Hilliard, and myself, Chris Dodson, thank you for joining us. Join us next week on the Gridiron Blitz. Signing off. Everyone, take care, have a good night, and go watch some football.